place to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the Lautimes podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Tuesday, March 3rd. We're back. It's the Lautimes podcast, where we talk about Tigres in English. Last week, talking about the team when the vibes were not so great. This week, talking about the team when the vibes are pretty high, especially going into a big week of games. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're watching live and if you're listening on podcasts later, thank you for joining us as well. I'm Dennis. I'm the host and the producer. And tonight we have an action-packed show. So I brought out some of the troops here to help me discuss all things Tigres, as we always do. So joining me tonight are two of my great friends, including, you know him, you love him as Tigres_English on the Twitterverse. But it's Lou in the house. How are you?
What's up, Dennis? Great to be here, man.
Great to have you back, my friend. And also joined by my friend here in DFW. You know him as Double O Nation on the Twitterverse. It's Edgar. How are you?
Doing good. Technical difficulties, but we're here.
Yes, we are here. Maybe some of the other louds will join us if they get my email of the link that I sent them earlier. Maybe they'll join us. We'll see. But for now, it's just us three. A little three-man weave. So thanks for joining us. Can somebody explain why Pumas' goalkeeper kit looks like a Seattle Sounders kit? This is just a random aside.
Bro, I kind of like it, bro.
It doesn't look half bad. I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of weird looking, but it's actually quite nice. I wouldn't wear it, but
yeah.
It looks good on Keylor Navas.
Edgar, don't be getting your hands on it. You Seattle stan. Don't be getting anywhere near that.
Greatest MLS team. There's no fighting it.
I'm not gonna fight it with you today. Maybe on another day when I'm up for it. Tonight's episode is a good episode. We've got a lot to talk about. Like I said, the vibes are much better than last week. Edgar and I recorded last week, and it was kind of a down episode, to be honest. Just because
I've decided I'm only going to show up on the good days. Bro.
Oh my god!
Let you and Edgar handle the depressing ones.
This guy, man. Vibes are not great. It felt like the team was not where it needed to be. I was just fried last week, honestly, too. And today I'm feeling much better. Obviously, Saturday was a great result, and we're about to talk about that. And hashtag not sponsored. Shout out IHOP for providing me with joy today with free pancakes for National Pancake Day. Maybe if you knew about this, you went. But if you didn't, you missed out. Because of the pancakes.
I feel like you kind of held out on us, bro. You should have said something a little bit earlier. Maybe I would have swung by.
Hey, man, if you know, you know. See, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need anybody to get fat. That's for sure. It was just
shout out to Threeger holding it out on the chat too, bro.
Yeah, Threeger already here. 4 minutes in. Thanks for being here, friend. If you're here watching us live right now, I know there's really few of you right now, but if you join us later, come hang out. Come hang out in the chat. We've got a lot to talk. Oh my goodness, AJ. Oh my goodness, this dude talking about Waffle House. I mean, hey, I do love me some Waffle House. I'm not gonna hate on Waffle House, big dog. But when it's free 99, bro, it's hard to say no to IHOP today. That's all I gotta say.
Plus, there's a less likelihood of getting shot if you go there at 3 a.m.
As we all know. If you're joining us live, by the way, do us a favor and get us some help getting this out to more people. on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever. Helps us out a ton because we want more of y'all to be in here and interacting with us. Come hang out in the chat. Come to the H. I'll treat you to Waffle House, says AJ. That's hilarious. If you're listening on podcast later, leave us a review, leave us a comment, all the things. Subscribe, follow. You guys know the drill around here. Like I said, we have a lot to get to tonight, so I don't want to hold this any longer. From this beautiful and filled out to the max outline that Edgar has so graciously provided for us today. So, my friend, would you kick us off as we recap Saturday night at Ciudad de los Deportes?
That is correct. Fiesta de Goles against Los Huilos. It's going to be our first segment of the night. Smiles return to the Incomparables around the world as Tigres beat America on the road Saturday night for the first time since November of 2019. More than just 3 points, it was a party on the pitch as Bruneta regained his confidence with a brace, accompanied by goals from Angel Correa and Stitch Angulo. The final score for the night was a 4-1. Is it safe to say that our Tigres are back and ready to go?
First time that we've beaten them in Mexico City since, Lou, I know you have the answer to this question, I'm pretty sure.
2017?
Which in that squad was the likes of Lucas Celarrayan, Ener, I think maybe was on that team. Cats like that. I think you tweeted it out on Saturday. It was like a
Well, what I
3-1,
tweeted
4-1.
out was the last time that we blew them out in this fashion. So
okay.
The last time we had a score this lopsided was in 2016. So that calendar year was great for us because in the Apertura 2016 we beat them 3-0, but we had the similar score in Clausura 2016 where we beat them 4-1. And the goal scorers that night were Juninho, Rafa Sois, who was the other one? Oh, Damian Alvarez, and I can't remember who the fourth one was.
Gotcha.
Might have been Gignac.
Probably.
So that's the last year. It feels like that was the last year that we were truly dominant against America. After 2016, Apertura 2016, we sort of slowly kind of started giving them the dominance because we had beaten them at home in that 1-0 game where Marcelo Flores scored, which was what, 2 years ago?
Almost 2 years ago now. It was summer of 24.
So, it's been a long time since we've had a win like this versus America, and they've really had our numbers. They've dominated us. Where I don't know if this is going to come up in the vault from the vault moment. I'm pretty sure it will, but we've just made 1 year of Guido Pizarro as a manager, and one of his first big losses was that 3-0 loss to America last year around this time. So just kind of goes to show how Giardini really had Pizarro's number there for a little bit, and this is really significant.
Yeah. To say this is a big result kind of might be an understatement for various reasons. For just the form of the team, the monkey off our back, not having done anything there against them in a long time. Edgar, just give me your just kind of overall big picture thoughts about that win and the performance. Not even just the result, but like the way we, in some ways, dominated a team that had really been a thorn in our side for a long time, especially at their place.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like I was watching a completely different team on the field, completely different players. For me, Brunetta is one of the guys that stood out the most. I think he completely 180, and he's back to a really top form that we hadn't seen in quite a long time. And you saw that in some of the other players as well. Like morale was really high. Effort was just different than what we saw against a couple of the other teams. Like Mazatlan was not the best game. Overall, I was really, really impressed with just with everything.
Lou, what would you like to add to that?
Yeah, this season, as you know, we've sort of been struggling at times. It's been disappointing that we've made so many mistakes throughout the season, and because of it, we've dropped points. So this game felt like it was the first time we've played the style and with the dominance that Guido Pizarro wants to see. The movement from the guys was amazing, especially the movement without the ball was amazing. The way Brunetta and Correa linked up throughout the night, the way Lainez was playing, um, just really bossing that right wing. Even Araujo, who has been struggling, and a lot of people kind of were wanting to give up on him already, looked really solid at times. Just his presence in that midfield to be able to drop in between the center backs and come out clean, because I think that's what Pizarro wants out of holding mid, is somebody that can come out clean, distribute the ball. I thought Gorreran was really good. I think it was one of his better games in at least the last 6, 7 months. Uh, Taking a lot of shots on target. Oh, I see what you're doing, Dennis. Uh, I set myself up for that.
For the
Yeah, I was just
kids.
for the kids, bro. Yeah, just the fact that he took what at least 4 or 5 really good outside the box shots, really promising. Just getting the ball in between the center backs, distributing the ball, everything just was sharp, bro. I thought, on paper, obviously it showed, but there was a certain dominance that kind of doesn't reflect in the stats, because they did dominate possession, but when we had the ball, we were just very clinical with it. And so I was really proud of the way we played. I think Pizarro was really proud of the way we played, and I think we even got a shout out from Giorgini after the game in a press conference where he said, "Hey, shout out to Pizarro." So I think he knows tactically we dominated, and you got to give props to Pizarro because he's putting in the work during the week in practice and getting these guys ready. So really a game to be proud of, and a game that Pizarro I think showed us that he can learn from mistakes. Right? He had been keeping Brunetta, and I think rightfully so, out of the starting 11, but to be able to recover Correa and Brunetta in that midfield, I think was really critical.
Sharpness, execution at an all-time high, at least in terms of the season. The game plan I thought was really great, just like keeping the field really small and forcing them to kind of have to play over the top, which was interesting. I just thought about this. I hadn't thought about this all day until just now. For Guido to have asked the team to play a really high line when they were in possession without Joaquim in there, who's our fastest of the center backs, and yet they never had really a threat outside of the goal that they scored, and that only happened because Araujo mistimed like where he wasn't right with the position, and then obviously it bounces Brian Rodriguez's way and he scores. We handled every long ball and every like over the top sort of pass that they were trying to do really well, despite the fact that our best asset in that scenario wasn't in there. Um, I thought that was really interesting. It really frustrated America. Like they were very confused, um, which is how we were kind of sitting in a deeper block, not necessarily like parking the bus per se, because Tigres has never truly been like, oh, we're just gonna park the bus and whatever. Like we do like to, especially with how Guido likes to play, like do like to have the ball, in more ways than not. So I thought that was really interesting, and obviously it worked out really well. Drieger with a great comment here. Guido has been getting rid of losing records. That is a great point. That's not the first time that this has happened. Um, Recently, where we've been able to sort of vindicate ourselves. I mean, obviously the Leon match back a month ago um, was a prime example of that as well. Um, I just was really impressed with how well the game plan worked, how bought in the team was, and just like the attitude of like, okay, must win game. We know we have to get a result here, And yes, we know that maybe our history has not been great, but who cares? Like, we have to be the better team. And Tigres like came out and proved to be the better team on the night. Um, I do think a small part of it is because this America team isn't as good as the ones in the past, but I also know that our team is capable of doing more, and it goes to show you that the last two results that we've had before this game were not the true Tigres. Like, we played decent in those two losses, didn't play amazing, but we lost those games because of mistakes, right? And now we get this result where it feels a lot more justified, where we played better than the previous two games than the other team, and we got the result that kind of vindicates that, and a score line that doesn't leave it in doubt. Like, if it was 2-1, sure, but the fact that it ended in a 4-1 win just kind of proves to me, and should prove to everybody, that like, okay, like, this Tigres team is still really good, and I think now we are starting to hopefully see a turning of the corner, much like how we saw last season, where maybe we didn't get off on the best of starts, but we're gonna peak at the right time going into Liguilla, and then hopefully in Liguilla we have another deep run, again, going into hopefully another final, right? Like, that's what we all want, and I hope that this is the game where that kick starts. And what a better game for that to happen than, playing in a place that hasn't been great to us over the last few years against the biggest team in the country, and to go out and to take advantage of that opportunity. I thought was great. And kudos to Guido, and kudos to the players. I mean, Guido was, or not Guido, Gorriaran was so open about that during the week, about um, being like, hey, we have to come in with an attitude of like trying to win and trying to give it everything. And the boys backed it up. Se ponieron las pilas, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, I mean the conversation. Think about what the conversation would be like if they had lost this game, and the pressure that would have been on the squad and on Guido Pizarro, especially with what's coming up. You know, you got a big game on this weekend, and then you're going into Conca uh, games. So to be able to have a test this massive at such a critical juncture just goes to show how resilient this team is. This team has a mental toughness. I think we've talked about it before, of how we go through stretches where things aren't going our way. Sometimes it's mistakes, self-inflicted wounds, and then somehow we find a way to crawl back. I thought in a lot of ways it had been a little unfair for us these last three games, given what the stats were showing, especially the XG. I think in the last three games it was a combined 3.7 XG, and we've allowed 5 goals. So I always take a look at that, because to me it's kind of important to see what the stats are showing us, and I think in some ways we've been unlucky due to some mistakes, and I think we still need to sharpen up, because this last game XG was at .88, and that goal really shouldn't have happened if we had done a better job of just being clean back there. And so, I think that's something we need to clean up. We need to get better. And if there's any complaints about the game, I think it's going to be that we didn't have the clean sheet. But it just goes to show this team is tough, and in big time situations they find a way to win. They have another gear to give. So I think that's very positive and promising too.
Also, are we cracked on the road? I said this on Twitter the other night,
Yeah.
but man, like, what a turnaround. I mean, this time last year, we were awful away from home. I mean, awful. Couldn't even like score. And now we're better right now on the road than we are at home.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, most of our points, most of our wins in this Clausura season have come away from El Volcan, which that needs to change. Obviously, like, we need to make our house fortress again, but that is so interesting to me, just how much better in some ways we've looked on the road than than in the comfort of our own backyard.
I
Um,
want to give a shout out to Chuy Garza, bro. I thought he was really solid back there
yeah,
against probably one of the best left wingers in the league, and Brian Rodriguez. I thought he did a good job of keeping him contained. That's a guy that's really hard to stop. He's got a lot of speed, good dribbler, great shooter. So, to me, it's one of those guys that if you can kind of keep him fairly quiet, you've done your job. And I think Chuy Garza did his part. That goal he scored really wasn't on Chuy Garza, so
no,
I
no,
got I got to give him props for
yeah.
how well he did.
Keeping in the theme of player shout outs and man of the match, Edgar, I'll throw it back to you. Who would you like to shout out from a personnel perspective as having good performances?
As I mentioned, for me, Brunetta, and I think he had a really, really solid game. Correa as well has to be mentioned. I know he didn't have the best game. I think the last two matches, they weren't, up to what we've expected and seen from him before. But I think Correa had a really, really good game. Lainez as well had a really good game.
Linus assist, Bru with 2 goals and an assist, Correa goal, Angulo goal, which like that hasn't happened in a long time. It was great to see him score.
But who
Um,
took the shot?
oh,
Loroña, baby.
yeah,
You gotta
assist,
give Loroña the shout, bro, because
dude.
quietly, he's been doing his job, bro.
It's so interesting. I talked about it a little bit last week, and I'll harp on it again. Like, I maybe Guido has a formula of just like making good left backs, right? Like, did we expect anything out of Vladi Loroña this whole season? No, and
Nope.
No, I mean
he,
Osvaldo was the one that started. He was the one that ended up being the starter when
yeah,
Farfan got injured.
yeah, and he had
And
an okay couple games, but Loroña's taken that left back spot by storm at this point.
well, to be fair, Osvaldo started out looking terrible that first game. I thought he was awful, but
Yeah, first game.
as he got minutes, he got better and better. And then now Loroña got plugged in, and he's doing well. So you're onto something. I think Pizarro does coach him up.
So that creates an interesting conundrum then when Farfan comes back. Like, I think he comes back and starts, but like, I think you have to make Loroña a regular piece, and maybe that also, in some ways, kind of helps if Chewy ever needs some backup too. Like, I know you talked about, and we've collectively have talked about, why did we let Javier Aquino go when we could have used him for depth? Um, Maybe Loroña kind of helps solve some of that problem if he keeps up this form with his versatility to play both left and right back. Maybe that helps solve some of that depth, and he can be reliable because he is showing to be reliable right now. Like he's doing okay defensively. I'm not saying he's like shut down or anything. Um, oh my God, Pumas! How on earth did they just miss that? That's incredible. Um, but you have Loroña if he's reliable enough that he can plug in at either side. He could fill in for Farfan when needed. He could allow Farfan to not play the whole 90 minutes, especially I assume when he comes back. Like Farfan's not going to start and play every minute of every game. He'll probably gradually get back up to fitness. So like having that is such a good thing for this team. Um, and again, it's a credit to Guido and the coaching staff for just allowing these guys on the left side to develop and eventually turn out to be decent, which I don't think we could have expected that. And then Toluca scores right off the bat. That's hilarious. What a turn of events. Um, Again, yeah, credit to the coaching staff because they're doing something right there, obviously, um, and getting these guys to be up to par, even to some level.
I think we learned something very important too about how important Brunetta is to the squad.
Yep,
Um,
especially
you
with
know,
Correa,
yeah,
inseparable.
yeah. Well, it's funny because in a lot of ways I think Correa needs Brunetta, and and Brunetta needs the guys around him as well. You know, when Gorriaran is better, when Lainez is better, when Correa's better, he's at his best. But I mean, there's been a big difference when Brunetta's not on the pitch. There is a a significant drop off, and I think even when he's not at his best, he still needs to be in the starting 11. I don't think you have a player that can replace him at this point. And so, you know, there was a lot of criticism of him these last couple of weeks, including I think our very own Tigres takes, and rightfully so. I think some of the criticism has been fair, but it just goes to show that we can't afford to let this guy just rot on the bench or
Yep.
not start or get very limited minutes. I think we're better when he's on the pitch, and when he's on the pitch, even if he's not at 100%, I think he Correa needs him. I think it eases the load off of him, and so I think moving forward, I think Pizarro learned that lesson too. You gotta have him in there. You gotta find a way to plug him in. And if you're gonna sacrifice anybody, it needs to be one of the holding mids, or you got to find a way, or like Marcelo Flores, like it has been. I don't think it's been fair to Marcelo Flores because he had been solid, but I think now we realize like if it comes down between Flores and Brunetta, I think Brunetta needs to be the starter.
Do we think that in the big games, this lineup of let's say Farfan when healthy, Farfan, Angulo, Romulo, Chuy, Araujo, Gori, Bru, Correa, Lainez, and then pick your striker of Aguirre and Guignac. Like that's the lineup for the big games.
I
Yeah,
think so.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so too.
and I think Gignac needs to be coming off the bench. El Buffalo Aguirre, I think, showed you what he's capable of doing, the sacrifice he's able to make for the squad to be able to. I don't think he got a lot of credit, but for example, that third goal that Angel Correa scored, a lot of it was him with his
Yeah,
movement
yeah,
off the ball.
kind of opening that
Like,
space up.
yeah, he tied him up. And so it's those little things that he does, the sacrifice he makes throughout the game to press, all these little things that he does, I think make a big difference. And obviously, if Gignac was younger and healthy and whatever, that would be your man. But at this point, you can't ask Gignac at 40 years of age to be doing what El Buffalo's doing at this point.
Right. El Buffalo Aguirre, aka mentioned on an athletic article today, talking about most anticipated players to potentially watch at the World Cup uh, this year by somebody on the athletic staff, which I thought was like that's so random. Of all the players to pick, like this reporter or this writer picked him. I mean, they has like 100 of them to pick one player, and they
Yeah,
they picked him. And I was like, what?
it's
Like,
kind of
okay,
random.
yeah, super random, but I mean, like you mentioned, he is providing his off the ball work has been big. It really has been, and I know he's not necessarily like getting the goal scoring output that you would like your number 9 to have, but he's doing a lot of the intangibles that I think are necessary in this system that Guido's trying to run. That's not fully reliant on like your 9 having to score everything, where it kind of opens things up for everybody. Um, I think I've recognized that now with the system, and um, he's doing a great job of it. So hopefully he can score more goals, obviously, but he's doing a lot of things that are helping the team as well. So he deserves some kudos. Um, any other thoughts about Saturday?
Not really. I mean, just overall, really great turnaround, all things considered.
Lou?
No, it'll be interesting to see if maybe we face them down the road. I think the only thing that they could argue could improve for them is maybe Sendejas getting plugged in into that right winger
Yeah,
spot. Which
yeah,
if had he started, maybe he would have given Loroña some fits back there. So it's an important piece that was out for them. Good win for us. I think we're starting to see who the best teams in the league are right now. I think it's Cruz Azul, Toluca, Tigres, and then give me whoever you want below them. I think those three have kind of distinguished themselves as the best three in the league.
yep.
I think Cruz Azul considerably better than Toluca and
At the
Tigres, but
moment, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. At the
So
moment,
I
for
think
sure.
I think you're seeing who's going to be contending for the title.
Yep. As of right now, speaking of the table, based on current standings, there's games happening right now. Cruz Azul in first. Um, did they just play today? I assume. Oh yeah, they won. They beat Santos today, so they're first. Toluca's in second. Chivas is in third, but Chivas has slipped back. They've lost their last two. Pumas in fourth, which is I think the biggest surprise in the top eight. Um, Pachuca in fifth, us in sixth, having played a game less as of recording. Atlas in seventh and America in eighth as of right now. Um, which I think is a based on how the season's gone, it is fair for us to be in sixth, but I think we will pretty comfortably end up not in sixth. I think we'll be higher than that by
Third
season's
or
end.
fourth,
Third or
probably.
fourth, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
I think Cruz Azul is probably going to run away with it, and there's probably no point trying to chase them down at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
Too much wear and tear to try to even accomplish that, but I think third or fourth is doable.
yep, I agree. Also, nice to see the boys winning that kit. I feel like that kit it hasn't been like cursed, but you know,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And shout out to the fans at the stadium. I thought there
dude,
was,
they rolled up, man. It was great.
yeah, once, a lot of times our yellow blends in with their yellow in the stands, so it's kind of hard to gauge how many fans there are. But once we kind of had the game on hand and they cleared out the stands and only our fans kind of remained, you could kind of see the turnout. And it was interesting that Aldo made a comment and said, "These aren't traveling fans. These are Mexico City
Yeah, like
area,
guys who were
metro
there.
area that are fans from here." And he kind of mentioned the fan base has grown in Mexico City. There's a lot more Tigres fans now. And I think some of the commentators were a little bit surprised to hear those comments, but just kind of goes to show that our fan base is growing, and we're starting to be recognized outside of the Monterrey metro area. So it was good to see that, and it was good to kind of get that shout.
I haven't said this in a long time, but it feels really appropriate to say this now. What do I always say, boys? When you're big, you're big. And that's how we're gonna end this segment. Actually, hold on, Drieger with a comment. You can hear the salt, I guess, the saltiness when he said that. I didn't hear because I was watching the Paramount Plus
Paramount.
broadcast, which I thought was great. So that was nice. All right, I know you guys are waiting for us to talk about Clasico Regio. However, there is a game before then, and it's in less than 24 hours. So, Edgar, would you help us preview tomorrow night's match versus Puebla?
That is correct. We are just hours away from our very next match. Tigres versus Camote FC.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, by the way.
Now I'm craving some camote.
Bro, same. Una empanada de camote. Bro, my grandpa, when I called him the other day, he was eating one of those. I was like, ¿Qué estás comiendo? Una empanada de piña? Camote? This is so funny.
Man,
Anyways, keep going, Edgar. Sorry.
All good, all good. Los Incomparables have one more battle before the most anticipated match of the season, and that involves our great Tio Puebla, who hosts us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. Will Guido rest some of his elements ahead of El Clásico? Is he rolling with all of the steak on the grill, as we say? Let's discuss.
I love it. Um, to that end of talking about some rotation and some rest, be ready for some of that. We got a tweet from Jorge Rosales talking about um, the 11 that Guido practiced with today, of Nahuel, Chuy, Romulo, Angulo, Loroña, Araujo, Vigon, Bruneta, Correa, Aguirre, and Marcelo Flores. Um, Diego Lainez is expected to get a rest tomorrow and come off the bench. Um, Fernando Gorriaran is unfortunately um, not going to be in the squad the next two games. He suffered an injury um, on Saturday in the America game. Uh, a left thigh injury, if I understand correctly. If I'm wrong, please say something. Um, so he will be out at least a week. I would doubt that he comes back even for the first leg against Cincinnati next week as well. But we'll see how that evolves. And no further word on Gignac, who did not make the trip to Mexico City on Saturday due to some um, discomfort in his left leg or left knee, if I remember correctly. So that's kind of the squad updates right now. Knowing that 11, Lou, that I just mentioned from Jorge Rosales, do you think that's the 11 that we get tomorrow night?
I think so. I think you need to rest some players, given how heavy the schedule's going to be these next couple of weeks. So you definitely have to rest a few of the pieces. And I think it's important to kind of keep, for example, Marcelo Flores active. Give him plenty of minutes.
We
That was
do
that
need
was
some
a
youth minutes.
Yeah, and that was a player that has been playing well. So it's important to keep him at that level because you don't know when you're going to need him. And so to me, minute management's going to be important given that we've got a huge game this weekend and then elimination style game coming up with Cincy. So I think it's good. It's good to have this kind of rotation, and don't expect an easy game against Puebla. I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw against Pumas, in the sense that they're probably gonna bunker down, low block, look to counter, and I think this is a game where Guido's got to tell the boys, hey, no mistakes, don't kill yourself, don't hurt yourself out there, like be clean out there. So I think it's gonna be a good test for us. I know it's not a game, a big name team, but it's a team that could definitely hurt us if we're not careful or if we take it too lightly.
Edgar, do you agree with what Lou has presented here, or would you like to see some other changes as well?
No, I mean I fully agree with Lou, and I think that regardless of the good game from last Saturday, this isn't going to be necessarily easier by any means.
Would also like to point out that tomorrow's match is unfortunately on VIX. For those of you
Boo.
who need to know where to watch it, maybe we'll get a Twitter link if you know at some point as well. That's how I'll probably watch because I do not want to go on VIX. Threaker with a great point here. We need to get Chicha some minutes. Thank you. I would not be opposed to having Correa start at the 9 and bringing Chicha off from the offset. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think he needs to play at some point in the game. Do we know if Joaquim is suspended for more than one game?
No, it was just a one game
It was
suspension.
just the one game. Okay, so
Yeah, he should be available.
in theory, he should be available.
No, he shouldn't be available. We don't need those mistakes on the field, guys. He should not
No,
be
I,
available.
I agree with Edgar, bro. I think he needs to sit out for a little bit. I think he needs to sharpen up.
I agree with that. However, due to Gori's injury, I do think it is likely. Let me rephrase that. Don't be surprised if he starts on Saturday. against Rayados? Because would you rather have him start or would you rather have Vigon start? I think I'd rather have Joaquim, even though he's kind of been crappy.
Nope, I'll take Vigon.
Drieger saying play him versus Puebla, not versus Rayados. I could also understand that too against an easier opponent.
Or hear me out. We leave him at home.
Start making some calls to Brazil and be like, hey, well, you want a pre-agreement before the summer? Just to get him off our hands? Good grief.
Put him on the clearance rack right now.
I've got to think that as far as subs tomorrow goes, like, if Vigon's going to start, okay, so you don't have any other really midfielders besides that that could come in. I would not love Romulo playing the whole 90 minutes. Like, it'd be nice if he, like, got off, like, earlier. Hopefully we can find a way to score enough goals to where we can kind of rest some guys early. I would hope that we can get Aguirre a little bit of rest and Correa and some of these other guys like Gacelo Lopez comes in for a little bit, second half, Purata, guys like that. I don't know. You do need to rotate some tomorrow. And I hope they give those wise about those rotations and that
You'll
it all
have
works out.
Ozzy Herrera that can play the 9 as well too.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Can he?
He was fine. Not, I mean, honestly, I don't remember him doing anything against America, but the game before he was fine, obviously, because he scored. But yeah, not super great.
That's just the nature of the beast with him. We've come to expect,
Yep.
you know, a good 30 minutes from him, and then he'll disappear for 4 or 5 games.
Yep. Little Puebla scouting report. So as of right now, they're in 14th place. This season, they have only gained, they've gained 8 points from 8 matches. In their last 5, they drew 2 in a row, and then they lost 2 in a row, and then their most recent game, they actually beat Flan Luis, mind you, on the road. So they're coming off of a win, but they've also allowed 10 goals and have only scored 5 up to this point, which we have allowed 9 goals, but we scored 15. Which is crazy. It's crazy seeing all of the teams. I'm looking at the table right now. All of the teams have let up at least 8 goals, except for Toluca. Toluca's only let up 3, which is wild. Even Cruz Azul, who's in first place, has let up 9.
Wow.
So Puebla, coming off of a win, will have a little bit of momentum. I don't know how their form is this season at home, but obviously you'd have to expect that they will be better at home than on the road. And I agree with Lou in the sentiment that it's not going to be an easy game by any means because we're not a team that thrives against a low block by any means. So it's going to be a little difficult to kind of figure out that puzzle. Not having Gorriaran and honestly his shot ability from long range that he resurrected on Saturday, not having that is going to be a bummer. Maybe somebody else will step in and fill that void, and maybe you catch him off of a set piece or off a long shot from 25, 30 yards out. But it's also a game that, in theory, you should win semi-comfortably in an ideal world, right? Like, this should not be the most difficult game that we play all season. With all that in mind, unless anybody else has any other thoughts about Puebla and just kind of how the matchup shakes out, my prediction for tomorrow is a cool, calm, and collected 2-0 win.
I gotta go 3-1.
Okay.
I'm going 1-0.
Hmm.
Late in the game. Not super late, but maybe 75th minute or so.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
We might have a little bit of frustration trying to break that low block and
Yep.
whatever else we face. Some bad refereeing, I'm sure,
Oh, for
sprinkled
sure.
in.
For sure. Which, by the way, the ref on Saturday, brother. Even though we won the game by 3 goals, that dude could have handed out like 7 yellow cards to America, and yet most of them were handed out to us for fouls. Anyway,
Clown show, bro. Clown show.
neither here or there. Yeah, see, thank you, Three Group. My reaction, exactly. Bruh. In fact, I think the ref deserves one of these. You're welcome.
Speaking of refereeing, we need to be careful not picking up any red cards or anything stupid because we need to have as many players as possible available for that Rayados
Yep.
game. So
Yep.
no foolish fouls, nothing crazy. Don't
No.
pull a Joaquin.
Yep. No tomfoolery, dog. No tomfoolery. Called many fouls to the wrong team on both sides. Yep, I agree.
Yep.
No tomfoolery. All right. Enough about the Puebla match. We want to get to the main event. Edgar set the stage for us for Clasico number 1 something. I don't remember the number, but set it up for us.
That is right. The main event of the week, El Clasico Regio. Few words are needed to describe the passion and the intensity of the Clasico Regio. We know that we're coming on with a big win against Las Águilas, but is Rayados coming on with a new high of their own, or are they still carrying extra luggage?
So, if you've kept up with Liga MX related things over the last few days, you know that the neighbors have made some changes. We know that the neighbors have not had a good season. The fan base is very upset. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of noise. And I think it reported yesterday, but it actually was made official today or late last night that they now have a new coach again. Torret got fired or left, a mutual agreement. I don't remember what the wording was. He's not there anymore. It doesn't matter. And they have an interim. Okay. Which is hilarious because he's not the guy that should be fired. There's a guy higher than him that is an idiot. But we're not them, so it doesn't matter. So there's that. There's the possibility of a new coach bounce. Right? They play tomorrow. They play Querétaro, I believe, at home tomorrow night, around the same time that we play. So maybe they'll get that new coach bounce just out of the way tomorrow, and it won't matter for Saturday. But here's the thing that we always say when we talk about Clásico Regios. It don't matter what the form is. It don't matter what a team has gone through. It don't matter if you fire the coach 6 days before. All of that gets thrown out the window in this game. This game gets crazy. This game gets wild. The last time that these two teams played each other at El Volcan was a crazy game. I would know because I was there physically and saw it with my own 2 eyes in the stadium. This is a wild game. It truly is a wild game. The last time they played each other last season was a wild game, a draw that was very exciting. And again, it doesn't matter what state either team is in, there's going to be a lot that happens, and the boys just have to stay focused on the task at hand and get a good result and obviously try to win the game. How do we feel about this matchup? Knowing what we're improving on, knowing how we're kind of evolving as a team right now versus knowing what is going on the other side of the city, and knowing that we're playing this game at home this time this season. How do we just feel about this iteration of the Clasico 5 days out from it?
Go for it, Edgar.
So for me, I'm really excited for it. Um, as I mentioned, I think for every fan, it's the most important game of the season. I think we're in the best position possible. Had this game taken place 2 or 3 games ahead, I would have been a little bit more concerned for it, or a little less optimistic, I'll say. Uh, Rayalis is having their own bubble of crap to deal with versus us. I think we've been pretty solid, all things considered, throughout this season. But I'm really expecting a high intensity and really good game.
I think you nailed it, Dennis, when you said that you got to throw everything out the window because it is a rivalry game and anything can happen. So to me, it's one of those games where Pizarro needs to talk to the boys and be like, "Hey, don't look too much into the stats. Don't look too much into the way they've played because at this point we really don't know what kind of team's going to show up. Um, they've been quite bad this season, especially against the good teams. The
They got
game against
demolished by Cruz Azul over the
oh
weekend,
man, I mean that game could have easily been 6-1.
bro. If not for their
That could have been
goalie, oh my
yeah,
god.
it could have. I mean they got worked completely. They got exposed, and then the game before that against Pumas, they got worked as well. Pumas could have easily won that game 4-0. They lost to America 1-0. So they've been struggling and defensively for a long time, and especially under Dominique Torrent, they've been awful. They look slow. Their center backs look out of sync. It has been a team that you can definitely go after, get after, and create dangerous plays. But you said it well. I mean, we can't really take that to heart. The fact that they've been bad and so I think this is a game where you have to win by being very focused, very intense, very deliberate in what you do. So I think this is a game that we need to make sure that we enforce our style, play the way we want to play, and try to attack. I think if we're basing it off what's been going on this season, I don't think their defense is going to magically get better under Nico Sanchez. Obviously, there'll be some improvements, especially in the mental aspect, the emotional aspect of the game. But those kind of issues that they're facing don't get fixed overnight. So I think if that continues to be their weakness, and I think it's safe to assume it's going to be their weakness, then we need to attack. We need to make sure we go after them, and we have the pieces to do so. Angel Correa, Bruneta, Lainez, El Búfalo Aguirre. I think that's perfect game for El Búfalo Aguirre to score. I mean, how awesome would it be
Oh, I can't wait.
after
Honestly, bro, I can't wait to see him just in the Clasico environment. Like I think he's just gonna be riled up.
he basically got ran out of town, bro? They kicked him out like he's some kind of bum. So don't you think he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder? I think this is a game where he's gonna be dialed in and he's gonna want to score. So to me, it should it's gonna have a lot of good stories on both sides. Obviously, with their new coach, he's gonna want to prove that he needs to stay because he's at an interim level right now. So for them, I think, hey, you beat Querétaro, which is a very winnable game tomorrow, and then they face us and with the possibility to beat us, they're obviously going to want it. So we'll see. I mean, I think there's a lot of good stories here. And for us, I mean, if we were to win this game big, kind of like the way we beat America, get that coach fired as well, that'd be another feather in our hat. So there's a lot there, and I think it's a game that's obviously very winnable for us, but we need to play at our best and be at 100% and be intense the entire match. And we'll see. There could be fireworks, and I'm just really looking forward to this game because I think it's one of those games where there's gonna be some fighting. There's gonna be a little bit of everything.
No mistakes, please. That was the downfall of last year's fixture when this game happened at our place. Is that Lainez made the big mistake, giving up the penalty, getting sent off, allowing Ramos to score, and that kind of kickstarted everything that happened in that game from a chaos standpoint. I would like for that to not happen on Saturday, please and thank you. And I say all that I said earlier about how all that stuff gets thrown out the window, that it's a rivalry game, none of that stuff matters. I will put an asterisk to that, all that I said earlier, because I do think this is probably the best time to play Rayados with how down bad they are because of what you just mentioned with their defense. And honestly, their attack, because they just sold their striker, right? Like, let's not forget that.
Yeah,
They just
Berterame.
sold Berterame to Inter Miami, and Orellano, who I think is a good player, hasn't been
He's
great. But he's a guy who
he's dangerous though. He's
he's
dangerous.
he's a guy who can be a thorn in our side. And I love that Edgar put in the outline who's the biggest threat for Tigres, and I think he's the biggest threat, more than Canales. I think even at this point, because he's a guy that we haven't seen a ton of before. Even in the Cincinnati matchup last year, I think he only played the second leg, like he was injured the first leg, or came off the bench or something like that. He wasn't a big factor in that series, but now I think he could be, and that's something that the boys need to be locked in on, especially the wingbacks, because he's a guy that likes to float out to the wings and try to make plays from there. So that is the one guy. If anybody gives me a little bit of like worry from their point of view, it is definitely him. Everybody else, who cares?
Yeah, I agree, bro. He there was you mentioned it well that he didn't play great against Cruz Azul, but there was certain moments of the game where I was watching him, especially in his battles against Dita, when Dita, you know how they send their wing backs all the way pushed up. So Dita tends to kind of gravitates towards the edge a little bit, and he had some battles with him, and I could see that he was struggling to defend. And Dita is a very good 1v1 defender, very physical, kind of like Joaquin. And so to see him struggle against him, I was like, wow. I was actually thinking about us in this game coming up, and I have the same thought. I think he could be dangerous for them, and we'll have to keep him contained. You can't let him be the wild card. We obviously know Sergio Canales has quality, but you almost know that our guys are going to be on him, not going to let him roam free, take long distance shots. So you expect a better marking on him, and I think Orellano is one of those guys where he can kind of slip under and kind of surprise you. So that kind of does worry me a little bit.
Edgar, do you share the same sentiment, or is there another player that you're like, actually, this guy gives me some worry?
No, I think we nailed it on the player, and outside of that, the only other threat would be the refereeing. But that's nothing new.
That's also very accurate. Have they announced who the ref is going to be for that game? Have they dropped that news already?
I
It's. I
don't
mean,
believe so.
it's not going to be Cesar because if the rumors are
Because
true,
he's being held up over there.
that brother's on the other
Yeah,
side of the
he's in the
world.
middle of a war zone.
Bro's caught in the crossfire, unfortunately. Oh my goodness. I'll see if I can find it here in a
I
second.
wouldn't be surprised if they give us El Gato Ortiz, bro.
Oh, gross. At this point, though, you may not be wrong.
One thing that I think we need to really go after is their center backs. I was
Yeah,
watching
dog.
Carlos
Yeah.
Salcedo and
Oh,
and
bro,
um
cooked,
and
cooked.
what's his name? The
Freaking.
Colombian, Stefan Medina. Man,
Oh
Stefan
gosh, yeah,
Medina, no disrespect to him because he
dog.
was a really good fullback for many, many years, but man, has he lost a step. He was getting beat so on speed alone so many times. And
Bro.
I think El Buffalo Aguirre needs to be right there the whole night, and then Angel Correa right behind him. I think that's a hole right there that we can exploit, and we'll see what they end up doing. I don't know if maybe they foresee that being an issue and they drop five at the back. We'll see how they adjust. I really don't know. Haven't seen much from Nico Sanchez to really know what his system looks like or what his
Yeah,
style of play is like, but it wouldn't surprise me if he tries to adjust somewhat to compensate for that.
yeah, yeah, bro. I mean, Salcedo's coming off of a long-term injury, so I'll give him some slack there. But obviously, he's not the player that he once was. Even the player that he was even here when
Yeah.
he played for us, he's far
I
removed
mean,
from
it's
that.
almost been what 10 years. It's been what 8 years since he left.
That
7 years.
no, not since he left. Didn't he leave in 21 or 22? Since he
Yeah,
arrived, probably 8 years.
yeah.
Because
Since
remember,
he, I'm thinking since he arrived.
he was on the Club World Cup squad, if you
Yeah,
That's
remember.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely since he arrived, because I think he arrived right after the World Cup.
2019, I think he arrived.
Yeah, because he was on the championship team versus Leon, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, obviously, clearly not the same player that he once was, and like you mentioned about Medina, and I would put Guzman in there as well. Like Guzman hasn't had necessarily. I mean, he wasn't even favored by Torrent uh, during much of his tenure there. So maybe the new coach kind of changes that, but obviously he's not in flying form either, and that takes time to like get back in sync. Like you mentioned, Lou, like guys just don't get into like a lockdown defense in a couple training sessions. Like that's just not possible, really. And if it is, like, then the sport is crazy, which the sport is crazy, as we all know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, a lot of times in these games, in these rivalry games, you run more on adrenaline and emotion than you do on your system.
Right. Our most important player on Saturday, from our side of things, is going to be who at the end of the day? Not everybody wants.
It's a toss up between Correa and Bruneta for me. I think it might be a good night for Correa.
Well,
I'm with
Threaker
you.
agrees with you.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I think if El Buffalo Aguirre is dialed in and motivated for this match, which I think he will be, there's gonna be space behind him. And then with Bruneta being able to kind of move in that space outside the box, and then Lainez obviously gonna do Lainez things. I think it's gonna set up really well for Correa to have opportunities to shoot. So it'll be a good game for them, especially if Bruneta can step up. Then I could see Correa having a brace.
okay. Correa scored one goal. He scored one of the goals last time out against Rayados, and Bruneta scored the other. Is that what happened when we played them back in like October?
Was that when Nico scored the tie?
No, that was
The previous one, right?
yes, the one that I was at. That was Nico and CEO who scored that night.
The header
Uh
from
huh.
Nico,
Yeah,
right?
that was
Yeah.
the winner. Yeah, that was the winner. And Sebastian's was the one that tied it. Um, Uriel Antuna has entered the pitch for Pumas, by the way, if anybody
It's
cares.
over. It's over.
Cooked. Um, I wasn't gonna say either of those two. Obviously, I think they'll be super important, but I think my answer is going to be the guy who I think is the biggest key to the way that this Tigres operation works with under Guido Pizarro, and it's a guy who I've been so high on for the last year or so, and it's Romulo. Um, just the way that he stops things before they get worse, whether he's in midfield or when he plays as a center back. Um, His passing ability out the back has gotten so much better with every passing game. And for a team that hasn't had a ton of great luck offensively to start the season in the neighbors, he's going to be the type of guy to frustrate them even more, with just the way that he steps into challenges and wins duels and tries to, like I said, stop things before they happen. So if he just plays at his A game, which I would be shocked if he didn't, then I think that we will have a very good night because of just how he's able to stop things and to help us keep possession.
But where do you have him playing at? What position?
I've got to think he plays center back. If I'm Guido, and I was going to ask you guys this, and I will here in a second, knowing that Gorri's out for Saturday, we already know that. And knowing what we said earlier about we want to keep the same lineup or close to it as possible that we played this past Saturday, because that's probably our best 11 for now. Do you replace Gorri with Vigon, like we're going to in some ways tomorrow, or do you replace him with Brunetta, or not with Brunetta, with Flores? Brunetta plays a little bit deeper, and then you have two actual wingers with Correa up in that front line. So I think Romulo by default ends up playing center back in that scenario, because Araujo and Brunetta probably be the double pivot in midfield.
Edgar, what do you think, bro?
I think I'm with Dennis on this one. I think that's most likely what we're going to see for Saturday night.
Now, I want to give you what I would do,
All right.
and then I want to give you what I think Pizarro's gonna do.
All right. Have at it.
So I would go 4-1-4-1, and my center back tandem would be Joaquin and Romulo. And my single holding mid is Araujo, and I play Flores as my left winger.
Okay.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do.
Wait.
But,
Okay. Wait. Hold on. Alternate. So Lorania still playing at left back, or is it Angulo?
Yeah. So you keep your usual fullback. So like I'll run it through. Nahuel at goalkeeper, Loroña left fullback, Joaquin center back, Romulo Suarez center back, Garza, Araujo your single holding mid. Then ahead of them in the middle you've got Brunetta and Correa, left winger Flores, right winger Lainez, and then Buffalo Aguirre up top. That's how I would line them up. But what I think Pizarro's gonna do is gonna keep the 4-2-3-1, but he's not gonna play Romulo at center back like you think he is. I think he
okay.
plays at holding mid with Araujo.
And Joaquin steps in at center back next to Angulo.
Correct.
Okay. Which I wouldn't hate that either.
If Angulo's fit, that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, because he came off too on.
There was a little bit of a knock, right, against America.
Yeah, he came off at the end of the game or before the end of the game.
So if Angulo's not fit,
but he trained today.
He might do Purata, but let's just assume Angulo can go. Then you go Nahuel, Loroña, Angulo, Joaquin, Garza, your two holding mids, Araujo and Zuarg. And then he's going to go the three ahead of him, left winger Correa, central attacking mid Brunetta, Lainez as your right winger, and then Buffalo Aguirre up top.
Okay.
I think that's going to be the lineup.
I would not hate that. I really wouldn't. I like Romulo more as a midfielder than I do as a center back, just because I like that he's able to stop things before. He's good at both. Obviously, we know this, but I like when he's a little bit more advanced and kind of sits in between the center backs. But I like where your head's at with what Guido will probably do. Gignac subs in the last 15 minutes. Okay, speaking of Gignac, Edgar proposed a question in the outline. Is this his last Clasico? I think it is.
I unless we face them in Liguilla.
Right. Correct.
Or in Conca, if we randomly play them in the Conca final, which would be hilarious.
That would be awesome.
God, if we have,
Dude, don't even mention that, dude. That got me like,
bro.
that
But then
just blew my head, bro.
dog,
Imagine
and then we
he
have to
redeems the
win that, bro.
2019,
Yes, thank you. Oh my god,
redeems the 2019 final. That
dog.
would be like cherry on top, bro. You go out with just a bang. Man, what do you got to do that to me, bro? Probably not gonna sleep tonight thinking about that scenario.
Sorry. I want to say yes, but now that we've mentioned it, part of me thinks this may not be the last time we see them before the end of the season.
Because we would play them in Liguilla or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but let's say we didn't, then your answer would be yes.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, because I think he's done.
Which, speaking of last games, have you noticed that ABC Deportes has been putting out Nahuel info to try to destabilize the team?
No, I have not noticed this. Inform me.
So they ran a little article or whatever saying that Nahuel has not renewed his contract and they think this could be his last season.
I know my miss, bro.
It's funny how they happen to bring it right during Clasico week.
Hombre, way. Talking utter nonsense.
Bro.
Absolute utter nonsense. I mean, Fatma doesn't have his contract details. That's weird. But his contract doesn't expire in June. I think it expires.
That's what they're saying. That it expires in June. And so therefore it needs to be renewed.
I thought it was later. I'm gonna research this.
I could be wrong, but I think it does expire, and then there's a 1-year extension option that's already built into his contract. He just has to say yes.
Oh, okay.
If I recall correctly.
So the club has the option to exercise it, but he also has the option to opt out, I guess.
Yeah, if I recall correctly.
Now, this is a tweet that never got any traction because I think I tweeted it like during a bad time of the day. But I tweeted this out a while ago, a couple weeks ago, that Messi is likely going to play for Newell's during the MLS, what do they call it? The short season or whatever they're calling that.
Yeah. Next year. Yeah.
And so I was thinking that what got me thinking was that if that does end up happening, which is there's a possibility, if Messi goes to play over there for that brief time and then goes back to Miami, that Nahuel could possibly bail out to go play, because there is that in, I don't know if it's an urban legend or if it's true, but there is that supposedly clause in his contract, allegedly a clause in his contract that allows him to leave if Messi ever joins Newell's Old Boys.
So looking back at the internet, I stumbled upon a tweet by some guy named Tigres_English. I don't know who that is. Who said on June 12th of last year, quote tweeting a Bayo tweet that Nahuel's contract, it is the 1+1. So it technically expires in June, but there is an extension that could extend it
be exercised
June of 27. But I don't know if that's player or team or mutual. So thank you, Lou, for reporting that back in June. Love it.
So there it is. ABC Deportes trying to stir the pot right on Clasico week.
Mamadas que están haciendo. Puras mamadas, bro. Oh man. Okay, let's make some predictions. I'm so bummed I'm not going to be there this time. I freaking loved it last year. But you can't go to every Clasico. The joints are expensive too. Score predictions and goal scorers. You too, Threaker. I know you're watching in the chat. Anybody else watching live right now, drop your predictions in the chat. Starting with Edgar.
I'm going to say 2-1 is what we'll be expecting.
So just like last year.
Yep.
Goal scored by
Correa, and the other one's a coin toss. It's either going to be Buffalo or it's going to be Gignac.
non-bias aside, says Streaker. 8-0.
Jesus.
Hey, I hope you're right, big dog. I hope you're right. That would be awesome. That might destroy them as an institution if that happens. Lou.
I'm not going with my mind. I'm going with my heart on this one, bro. I'm gonna go 5-1 Tigres.
Wow. Goal scored
Yeah,
by.
I'm gonna go with a brace for Correa. Go for Bruneta. Go for Aguirre, and I go for Lainez.
Okay. I will say 3-0. This will be the win that gets us back on track at home. Finally. Correa, Marcelo Flores,
Ooh, nice.
and my wild card, Chuy Garza.
I'd like that very much. Canterano scoring.
Yeah, dog. Which, by the way, speaking of what with him earlier, you talking about the performance he had, for him to have that performance coming off of his national team debut too, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Kudos to him. Obviously, as we know, the game will be broadcasted on Saturday in the usual spots of Fox Deportes, Estrella TV, and Telemundo. It'll be on actual Telemundo this time and not just on Peacock. Reminder for everybody that it is a 9 p.m. start this week. We are the late game. And don't forget that this Sunday is daylight savings for those of us here in the US of A. Just so you'll know.
Spring forward. We lose an hour of sleep.
But we get an hour of daylight, which I love. Threedger saying, Chelo, Lainez, Correa, Bruneta, Gignac, a brace for Buffalo, and a Romulo goal? That's crazy. You might as well have Nahuel scoring off a
Should
header.
have had the whole squad, bro.
Yeah, dog, at this point.
Loroña.
Bro, Pizarro from the sideline scoring a banger. Freaking Damian from the stands, bro. Like somebody random. Alfred from the stands, if he's there, is the way. Good grief. You guys think you guys think he'll be in the stadium?
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah,
A
it's a
ver,
big game.
a ver
For
si
a
nos
Clasico,
avisa.
yes.
A ver si nos avisa and he gives us some footage or something.
Ya ni se acuerda de nosotros.
No, hombre, pa nada.
Is Arnoldo gonna be there?
No, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Ni en su
Maybe
casa está.
Maybe we'll get another shot of him celebrating into the camera, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yes, bro. One of my favorite TikToks of last year. Oh my goodness, that was great. Oh man, I wish I was down there not only just for the game, but also just to be in the city. Like this is such a great week to be in the city. The vibes are always really fun during this time. Like everybody's wearing their jersey.
Now
Saturday.
I'm craving tacos, bro.
Bro, una carnita asada, bro. Bro, why am I gonna be in Oklahoma of all places on freaking Saturday at this bachelor party that I'm gonna be at? In the middle of freaking nowhere, gonna be dying with the internet or fighting with the internet trying to find the game in the first place. Good grief. And craving tacos the whole day. Golly. I'm gonna be suffering on Saturday. Drieger saying Sobeys. Maybe Sobeys will be in the crowd and he'll score a direct free kick or something.
Paletas queda.
Oh, golazo. What is this Pumas game, bro?
Bro, Pumas has been taking it to him the whole game, bro. This has been back and forth.
You say that, and Toluca just scored a banger, and it's 2-2 now.
That's a golazo.
Good grief. Liga MX, man. Bendito Liga MX, as the internet says. What a league. Okay. We're gonna stay on the topic of Clasico Regio as we start to wind down, but not about the actual game that we are expecting this weekend. We're going to talk about it in the point of view of From the Vault, which is back this week. And Edgar, you have filled out From the Vault big time.
That's right. We got From the Vault moments back for this episode. We'll start off with a really random game that I came across, but we'll see. We'll see if you guys remember any details. November 3rd, 2012, Apertura season. Monterrey 0, Tigres 1. Tigres won at the Estadio Tecnológico. Do you guys remember who scored that goal?
2012?
2012. Singular goal, won the game.
So this is Apertura 2012. Oh man,
Ooh.
Tito Villa.
Bro, it's probably like. Nah, it could have been Luquitas, bro. I don't remember Luquitas scoring that game. Was Pulido around by then?
You are
Still?
correct. Alan Pulido scored in the 87th minute.
Wow. Oh, I don't remember that at all. Wow, I got to look back at the tape on that. Interesting.
Not super eventful, if we're being honest, but random goal score, well, random goal scorer, and reliving one of the last games at the Tecnológico.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Interesting. Next one.
This one's definitely a bit more memorable. Edition number 105 of the Clasico Regio. Tigres 3, Monterrey 1 at the Volcán. Do you guys remember who the goal scorers happen to be?
Oh, was this Guignac's first one, bro? It has to be.
What year was this, Edgar?
You said 15?
15.
Oh, yeah, this is him. So this was, bro, this was him.
that was the game where
La Palmera, bro. He scored. Right? Or did he assist or something?
Was that the Gignac heel kick goal?
Yep.
Oh, who's the other guy who scored?
Didn't Funes Mori score a golazo in that one?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so he actually opened the game. He scored the first goal of the night in the 35th minute, and they still lost.
Bro, who was the other goal scorer?
Sobis?
I might have screwed up the outline because I wrote Palmera and then I wrote Rivas, but I don't think Palmera scored 2 goals.
I want to say it might have been Sobis.
Yeah, that sounds right. I do remember that. I remember Gignac scoring in that game very vividly. Very, very vividly. I can't remember the third goal scorer though.
We're gonna look it up because now I'm curious.
Because
wasn't Aquino.
Aquino.
Was it like right outside the box or right on the line?
I think so. I'm gonna have to watch the highlights for this game because now I don't remember this Aquino goal.
Man, it's funny how time goes by, bro, and you start to forget things, right?
Crazy.
Bro, out here talking to us like we're getting early onset dementia, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. I put this down on the outline. I'll mention last year's a favorite of mine for obvious reasons because of how that game transpired and just being in the building for it. Loved it. Very, very loved it. As we all know, the goal scorers were, as I mentioned earlier, CEO and Nico Ibanez, although Sergio Ramos also opened the scoring with a penalty. And as we all know, Nahuel's payasadas from before that penalty being scored. Woodsy!
What up, Woodsy?
Saludos to you, my friend.
¿Cómo va, rapaz?
Our friend from across the pond. We miss you, friend. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Woodsy's mere presence positively has distracted me. Freaking Toluca, bro. They scored again. 3-2. What a game, honestly. Obviously the Lainez red card, there was the red cards that they had during last year's game. Guido got sent off, remember? And then Guignac was almost fighting somebody in the tunnel. Do y'all remember this? I can't remember who it was, but he was like almost jawing at somebody. Yeah, last year's game was crazy. It was genuinely crazy. 3, you're saying. Solvi scored in that game that they had in Clausura 2015.
Oh, okay. So not the Apertura one. I knew he had scored one because I remember there's that famous shot of Sobeys going up to Jonathan Orozco and kind of like
Yeah.
Jonathan Orozco's on the
that's
ground and
right.
he's like pointing at him like that.
Yeah, bro. I guess it is that game. Interesting. Any other Clasico from the vaults that weren't listed? I think those are the only 3 that I saw.
Yeah, we only listed 3. Of course, many memorable moments from our Clasico Regios. Florian's goal will forever be his greatest accomplishment.
Oh, Flo. Teammates with Globe America bust.
St.
St.
Maxim.
Maxim. Nah, I'm kidding. He wasn't a bust. I mean, he was, but also like circumstances are weird.
Yeah.
Very strange. Very strange exit, as we all know. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great game. Like I said earlier, late start, so don't tune into the game at 7 thinking it's gonna start at 7 because it's not. How long are you staying on? Because I'll pop up for the end of the show if you want the smoke. Whoa! What does that mean? What on earth does that mean? You try to hop on right now, I'll send you the link right now, big dog. What in the world is that all about? What you mean if you want the smoke? What does that mean? Genuinely. What is going on? I'm sending him the link right now. I don't even care. That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
Show's about to go from PG to rated R, baby.
Bro, and in an instant. Well, while we're waiting for Woodsy, say no more. Give me 5 minutes. Okay, I can stall for 5 minutes. We've got enough stuff still here that we can stall for 5 minutes. We can make that happen.
We're gonna talk about Cincy next week, I guess, right?
Yes.
Break down that matchup.
Yeah. So looking ahead a little bit, next week, obviously, we will recap everything that happens this week. We'll look ahead to the Cincinnati match. Just to confirm, we haven't talked about the days and times yet because we didn't know this last week. Both legs of this matchup are on a Thursday. So next Thursday is the first match in Cincinnati. I believe it's a 7 or 8 p.m. kickoff for that game. That has in turn created a scheduling conflict with our next league game, I believe against Querétaro. That was supposed to be the following day on Friday. That game has now been moved to Sunday. So we will play a Sunday home game. Very rare that happens, but a Sunday home game right after that. And then the following Thursday after that, the 19th or whatever, we will play the second leg against Cincinnati in Monterrey. So that is how the schedule has kind of changed over the last week or so with all that. And that second leg, I believe, is a 9 p.m. Kickoff for us here in Central Standard Time Zone in the U.S. So as far as I know, those games will be on the Fox networks as always. I think TUDN will have the games, but I'm sure it will end up either on FS2 or FS1, maybe Tubi, but I imagine the games will be on there. So keep an eye out for that. We'll talk about it more next week. We are hoping to have another collab episode or two with our friends from Cincy Soccer Talk and our friends from the Cincinnati FC Cincinnati universe. But more details to come on that if it even happens at all. Stay tuned. Amazonas did not get a ton of spotlight today because there's just not a lot going on. They're on international break right now. The only thing worth mentioning with them is that a few of the girls are out with their national teams on break, including Jennifer Cordinali, who scored, I believe, 1, maybe 2 goals in her most recent game for Brazil. Shout out to her. I know the Mexico girls are about to play, and we have 4 girls who are with them right now. Their next game is not until like next week or the week after. So still got a little bit of time before they come back and play. Threaker saying 2 goals for Gorginelli. Thank you. One of the other bits I wanted to talk about was the picture that started floating around on the interwebs over the last couple of days of a certain man who made his appearance on the Wild for the first time in a long time, talking about our sporting director, who
You gonna call that an appearance, bro? Come on.
bro, I don't even know what that function was that he was at with
Well,
Vigon of all people.
at least it shows that he's alive.
Yeah, bro. Like literally, it's like, oh, you exist. You're here. I don't
What
know
was
what.
that conference?
I have no idea. I don't know why it was
Yeah.
him and Vigon. I have zero clue. Could not tell you one bit. It just popped up on my Instagram. I was like, what on earth? Like, what are you doing here? Like, you're around? You exist still? Okay.
Which there's been talks that Nahuel and Gignac are gonna be doing commentary for the World Cup with TV Azteca.
Yeah.
But hopefully as soon as they're done with that, Gignac can take over that sporting director role
Please.
from Torrado, because at this point we need somebody with some kind of presence at that position, bro.
Yep. Big time. So yeah, obviously there's nothing much to that. I just thought I mentioned it because I saw it on socials. Edgar, you have an important bit that you put on the outline regarding team merchandise.
That's right. I'm here to take care of you guys. There's a sale going on with Adidas. Check out your app, check out the website. 30% off on kits, and that's all Adidas kits, the home kit, the away kit, and the newly released third kit. So get yours. I know this deal was on Dennis. I think you got your kit a couple weeks ago when this deal was out. It's back.
Yep.
So if you
It
missed
never
the
went
first
away.
time,
Actually,
it never
just-
went away.
It never went away. The 30% off, at least of everything, never went away. So that's why I was able to get the black kit. And obviously, as you guys know, if you're an Adidas club member, if you have enough points, you can get additional discount codes on top of that. Like I did, I got an extra 15% off on that kit. So yeah, you should do that.
Is that player and fan edition jerseys?
Yes, can confirm. Can
Yes.
confirm that
Very
is
nice.
the case. And the authentic jersey of the black kit has made its way into the States as well.
Long sleeves available or no?
No long sleeves for the third kit, unfortunately, for either here or there. Although they do have one of the things I noticed because I was just goofing around, wasting time looking at Adidas Mexico website. They have for the third kit, they have a replica pair of shorts and an authentic pair of shorts.
Wow, that's a first.
Yeah, which I thought that's really interesting because it comes like the authentic one it mimics the kind of lighter fabric of the jersey, instead of like the thicker one like this is, for example. So I thought that was really interesting. So if you're in Mexico, if you have connections, you could get either decent shorts or slightly nicer shorts if you want. Black and green. I don't know if they have pockets though, and I know people like to have pockets with their shorts like me. So maybe look into that. I don't know. Also, speaking of Adidas, they have also brought in on the US side, and let me make sure that this is still there before I start spewing out false information. But they also have brought out the this shirt, not jersey, shirt from the. It's apparently this shirt is part of the originals collection that just dropped. This one and the other one with the trefoil, that's yellow and blue and has the little hat in the corner. But that one's not available here. This one is, and is available for $40 on the Adidas store. So that's what it is, I guess. The Edgar, you didn't mention this, but I will as well. This is what's interesting to me about this sale. The authentic third kit is 30% off, but the authentic home and away are 20%.
Yeah, and I just noticed that as well. I thought all of them were 30%, but no, it looks like only the authentic, and it's weird because it's the new one is the one
Right.
that's 30% off. So
Yeah.
that's actually a really good pickup if anyone out there is missing that from their collection.
Instead of it being 150, which is way too expensive for a jersey anyway, it's 105, which I would argue is also too expensive, but it's better than 150. The kids' jerseys are 25% off, all three of them. So you can get, if you got a kid, if you know a kid who can use a jersey, you can get them the jersey, all three kinds, for $53.
Which
And
is
you don't
not
even,
bad.
and you don't even have to be an Addy Club member for that. Like, you can. All I'm saying is, if you're a member, you can get additional discounts, but this is for everybody. Like, these sale items. So, anyways, go spend your money if you want. We never did a. You know what I just realized, Edgar? We never did a recap of how much money we spent on team merch last year. We never sat down and figured that out. Probably because all of us haven't been on one episode since the Bayo episode. But we need to do that at some point and look through our transaction history again.
Yeah, because even with these savings, I'm already spent more than I planned on merch.
Did you pull the trigger after you told us last week?
Yeah, so I got those, and then because I got it on the weekend. If you spent more than $150, which I did, you were able to get like a free Adidas backpack with your purchase. So I've got that coming for me as well.
That's so cool. Like, you got all of that for not a huge ton of money.
Yeah, it was still under 200, so it was like, it's still a pretty good sale.
Yeah. And you still got the Mexico kit, right? Like the long sleeve?
Yeah, so I've got that coming as well.
Nice. You got just a replica one though, right? Not the authentic?
Yeah, just a replica. I love the authentics, but I feel like they're a little bit more fragile on the washing and drying, so I try to avoid those.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, it's especially for the World Cup like editions, like they're very nice. I've seen the authentic one in person in Mexico quite a bit. But obviously the replica still does a fine job for sure. So good pickups, my friend. Woodsy said 3 minutes ago he's loading up. So hopefully he joins us. I think Lou just disappeared. I don't know if his laptop died. I don't know if what happened to him. So unfortunately he's not with us right now. So I guess we're gonna stall until Woodsy hopefully joins us. Maybe he'll join us in the next minute or two. But as far as our agenda goes, that's pretty much it. Unless I'm missing something that I skipped over in the outline, Edgar.
Nope, so that's just about everything that we've got on the outline. So thank you guys for listening. And again, get your merch, get it while it's on sale. Try to never pay full price for it. That's just my 2 cents.
Brother, that's the advice I live by every time. If you're paying full price on anything that's not like food and stuff, like, what are you doing? Like, there's never a point. Okay, here we go. Joining us live from across the pond as we wind down this episode, our great friend is back, Woodsy.
How we doing, boys?
Oh man, it's great to have you back. We're doing great. We're even better now that you're back. I know it's super late, or I guess really early in the morning for you over there in your side of the world. I see you with the Botafogo jersey. How you feeling? What's the smoke you're talking about? I'm ready for it, big
No,
man.
it just means I can't sleep, and I'm just here to chat shit because I was watching the game last night. And I was like, it's 3 a.m. my time, late kickoff, and I'm watching it half asleep because obviously, like, I was trying to fix my pattern anyways. I'm watching the fucking game. Like, I'm in bed. I'm sat here in bed watching the fucking TV screen. Like, what's going on? And then I just see penalty, Chris. I'm like, fuck you, cunts, you fucking wankers. And we were on it from minute one, man. From minute one, we were fucking on it. I fucking loved it, man. I fucking loved it. Every minute of it. Battered them. And we never beat them as well, so it was refreshing.
Yeah, dude. It was quite the result. I don't know how much you've been keeping track of things so far, but we mentioned it earlier, and I'll say it again. It was a very necessary, very timely performance based on current form, and the mental side of things, like how much this does for this iteration of the team, but also just for the club in general, knowing that we haven't beaten Club America in Mexico City in 10 years, basically. Like, that's such a big statement to hopefully kind of course correct some things, some mistakes from earlier in the season, and get things back on track to where they need to be, so that we can, go on another deep run again in a couple of months.
I watched the game against Forge because obviously, ironically, that was the one you were doing a watch along on.
Oh, nice. Yes.
You should do more of them, by the way. You should do more
yes,
of them.
we are planning to do that. Yes.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, I've been keeping the track of like the players we saw. Like, I've just I always the teams I follow. So Tigres, I've got all the like the players got. That was when Aguirre got his first 2 goals in his first couple of starts. In his first start, obviously. And I'll tell you what, the team. I've got to give a lot of respect to the board of directors and the scouting department, because no one's been more critical of them bastards than me in the last year, right? Because the neglect, like complete dead within the team, like still knocking about with players like Diego Reyes and Antuna Sandwich. Like, what are we doing here? But I look at every single player in the team, from youth upwards to experience to establishment, everything. Every single player in the squad has a purpose, whether they're a future asset, whether right now. I mean, Diego Lainez as well. I've just seen he signed a new contract, and what an asset! You wouldn't be thinking about the compliments we'd be giving him right now. What we'd be saying a year ago. He's a complete revelation under Guido Pizarro. If you're going to pick one player in particular who's improved, I mean, you can pick out like Brunetta, I guess, but even still, he sometimes picks and chooses when he wants to play a role on the year as well. But Diego Lainez is the epitome of a player he looks a different person since a year ago, honestly. And from minute one against Club America, they were fucking outstanding, mate. Outstanding. Like, they're knocking the ball about. They tried to fight us in the second half. We gave them the fight back. We said, we're not going to let you do this to us. Shit goal to concede, but whatever, man. It'll do.
What do you think about? We were talking about it earlier when Luis was on. What did you think about the high line? That was something that caught my eye really early first half. Is that Guido was trying to force the guys up a ton and kind of shrink the field. And if you notice in the first half, they really confused the America players. Like, they were getting really frustrated, and every time they tried a long ball, it didn't really work. Were you impressed by that? Was it something that you were maybe expecting?
I could see some like it's heading in that direction for a few games. Even when we played 3 at the back, because it was remember when Holmelu went into that central role in defence. He'd come out and he'd bite on tackles. So I said, all right, now we know which direction he wants to go in, obviously. And what I think gave the players more confidence to do that was the fact we got the penalty from minute one. The fact we went 2-0. The fact every time we got the ball anywhere in the pitch, that effort at long range by Gorrial, we were just superb. And even Luis Malagon, now that it's their goalkeeper, he's looking around his players like, lads, are we going to start fucking playing here? Like, we give him a second to breathe. And I think when you're all in sync, I played football before, not at a professional level, nowhere near, but when you just do the little things right, it convinces you to take an extra yard, an extra 2 yards, an extra 3-5 yards, and you just ooze confidence. That's all it was. And from minute one, it's like Guido went out there, unlike previous years. Rather than just, right, let's just try and strangle the game, hit him on the break, and just try and take them 3 points. Guido said, listen, these lot of shit, man. Go out there and fucking destroy these lot. Right. And that's exactly what we've done, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, this is by far, in the last 5 years, this is probably the worst iteration of Club America that we've seen. And that, I think, had a part to play with how Saturday ended up, but also like you mentioned, like there was a determination from the boys to, get after it, especially with what happened the last 2 league games of having really strange losses when in some ways we played better than the opponent. We just had mistakes kind of screw the game up for us.
Yeah, and Guido's learning quick on the job, man. I remember like when I did the show a year back, and I believe Arnaldo was saying he's looking to try and integrate the old Tuca Ferretti sort of style of just if we got to strangle the game, win the game 1-0 and take the points and take the title, that's what he's going to do. But I listened to that. I was like, I don't. It's kind of, I don't know, unfair, but it's kind of narrow-minded to come to that judgment, considering the fact when he in his first month in the job. Let's be fair, after plays were not his type of plays. He gave him a chance,
right?
But like,
yeah,
Nico Ibanez, till this day, I don't think he's a bad player. He's just not a Tigres player. And even for us, he still had a handful of good performances. That Toluca game away, man, we should have fucking won. We should have won that last year, man. We should have won that last year. We should have beat them. We should have beat them in that final. But no, you can see what he's trying to build, like trying to play on the front foot, trying to implement his style. Because I thought Brunetta on the left side was unreal, and it offers a different dynamic as well. Because you've got Lanes who comes inside, comes in on the diagonal, and then you've got Brunetta who sort of like hooks wide, and he can act as a bit of a wide playmaker. I mean, I prefer Brunetta down the middle, wherever he's playing in a deeper role, behind the 10. Big up Bainer. And but even then, he's still able to look across and actually like find back post crosses, combine. That's what he's good. We know that whether Brunetta is having a good game or a shit game, his passing's unreal.
Right. Yep.
So if you can utilize that role from a wide area, do you know what else that does? It creates a gap. Right, I'm getting real tactical here, but so if he's staying wide, it then drags their fullback out wide, and then that creates a massive gap between their fullback and the centre back. Who occupies that space? Goriaran every time. In that fucking space he is to attack it, and we know Gorialan's good at getting in the box and getting a goal as well. So it was really, really smart game plan from Guido. I could see it from minute one, even half asleep. I was like, we're gonna fucking batter these lot. Beautiful.
And that's why even Goriran had so many long shots, because he had the space to be able to just like take a crack at it. You know what I mean? Something that he hadn't really done, I'd say, over the last 6 months. Like under Paunovic, like he scored some bangers from outside the box, if you remember, and he hadn't really done that in a minute. And so to see him like pull the trigger from that far out again, I thought was nice, and he needs to do more of that because it opens things up for everybody else.
Yeah, it was that little bastard as well last week in that Pachuca game. Jesus Christ, what a goal he scored against us. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Speaking of long-range goals, but
yeah.
I mean, obviously they sussed that out, and they were shook, man. They were shook. That's why they pulled back. The Santos. You pulled him back into the defensive line, and they just sort of stayed deep, and they said, right, we're not going to bother pressing them because they're playing the ball quick, man. Let's just hook our own box. Let's just let them have all the space in the box. Gorialan just said, "Oh, fucking have a crack then. I'll grab a crack. I'll just grab a corner." We pull a corner, we score from the corner. So again, Luis Malagon's looking around like, what the fuck do we do? No matter what we do, they're just coming at us from all angles. It was just, and then there was a period in the game. That's where they got the goal, America, in the second half. For the first 20 minutes, obviously they come out. They looked a bit more dynamic. They played a bit more pragmatic. A couple more over the top balls. That's obviously where we got a bit exposed. Did the head of the team drop? No, not one bit. That was the one bit I was thinking when it went 2-1. I was right, Guido, this is where you earn your stripes now, mate. Because this team in particular, new set of players, I get it, but over the last few years, it's not had that tiger mentality of a Tuca Ferretti team where the one goal goes against us. We just look to fold half the time. And I remember they did the Toluca game a couple, not the one where we beat them, not the one in the final, but so many games. But the mental resilience was just so strong. Again, and then as soon as instant response as well, basically, with Correa, just immediately, just with the confidence to drive the ball through the middle, 3-1, see you later. Like, just top to bottom, it's how we should be attacking this league from start to finish. We should be winning it this year, man. Like, we've got the depth, we've got the quality, we've got the know-how. The other thing that concerns me a little bit is like maybe the lack of natural left-sided wingers we've got. Because I look on that side and we've got Flores has looked a level above. He's looked a level above, but does he have that consistency and quality to put a string of games together? If, for example, if Brunetta gets injured, because I assume he's going to keep his side on the left spot, I won't drop him after that. And obviously Diego Sanchez, this is coming through in he's obviously still making his trade. So, but other than that, mate, honestly, striker options as well. We've got Lopez behind there. Gignac can still come in for a game. We look solid in the squad depth department, and honestly, from 1 to 11 in terms of options, that was the one thing that pissed me off the most. Talking a year back, and that's why I was so harsh on the recruitment team. You got to say from that moment on, they've got it spot on. They've got it spot on. Guido came in with his backroom staff and said, "I've got a plan. This is what I want," and they've backed him. To be fair, so we've got to go win this title now. We've got to go win it.
How are you feeling going into? I know we have a game tomorrow, but just tell me how you're feeling ahead of the Clasico, the Derby, on Saturday, knowing that we're hopefully making some steps in the right direction, and knowing that the neighbors are kind of going through it in more ways than one. Just kind of tell me what you think about all that ahead of Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kept up too much, but they're not good, man. They're shit, man. Like, they should be. I mean, to be fair, even in our darkest period and during a period where they were flourishing, and then they put Sergio Ramos on a contract where they offered him like 7 mansions, 5 kids, and like, yeah, that was cute. Trying to win a trophy, and he still won fuck all. That's cute. Even when they went through that little transition, we still beat him. Remember the semi-final, Glazula 2023. We still beat him, bro. Even during our darkest days. So I just think, like, now we've stepped up a level, and they can't seem to get out of this shell of the little club that they are. I just, I mean, are we at the Are we at El Volcan?
Yes, we're at home.
We'll win that, man. 2-0.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said 3-0, but yes, yeah. I
was tempted to say 3-0, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, rivalry games, derbies, all that stuff can kind of get thrown out the window, right? Like, you never know what could happen. But knowing what we know about both teams, if we're thinking with logic here, we should be the favorite. We should have the upper hand, and we should win. But we'll see what happens.
So what, in midfield and out wide, I mean, oh god, it's not Anthony Martial there. Yeah, I remember him.
Well, he's hurt right now. He's not even around.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Well, same old Martial, isn't it? Canales, I loved him at Betis, man. He just got on there, but then I mean, same old problems. They're good at moving the ball about, but like I don't know. Like if we play that same aggressive style, because again, especially Joaquim good at knocking the ball out the box as well. Because let's be honest, they're a team that when they move the ball about, they're good at building it up, but then in the final action, it's just they put the ball in the box.
Right.
I don't know who's going to score. Their most like dangerous goal threat is probably coming from midfield when Canales whips those curls the ball with his left foot, because who's going to get a goal in the box? What, fucking Dadovic? Piss off.
Yeah, or Ocampos, who has been like hurt half the time he's been in Monterrey, so it may not even matter. Dude, it's been great to have you join us for the last few minutes. It's just us, by the way. The other fellas experienced some technical difficulties, unfortunately.
Scared them off, have I?
I guess so. I do want to ask you, kind of going off Tigres for just a second. I love that you're wearing a Botafogo jersey, because this question is about
yeah, well, I've got that shirt you're wearing now, but I didn't have time to change. So
sure, no, I got you. But I do want to ask you something involving Brazilian league. Can you try to explain to me, if at all, like, why the heck Felipe Luis got fired today? Like, I woke up to that news this morning, and I just kind of like looked at my phone for a minute, like, that's not real. Like, he's a good coach. That's not real. And then I look more deep into it. It's like, oh, and he got fired after winning a game 8-0. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, well,
like, please explain this to me.
Yeah, I mean, so they didn't start off the season that particularly well, anyways. They lost the Supercopa do Brasil to Corinthians, and they lost the Recopa Libertadores to I can't remember. It was the Argentinian team. Lanús, and so they weren't playing particularly like they were starting to just pick up the pace a bit, and they were starting just to accumulate a couple of points in the league. But basically, it was reported, but it's not reported, it's basically confirmed, that Felipe Luis a few days ago was in contact with Blueco, the group that owned Chelsea, run by Todd Bowley. Chelsea, obviously. Yeah.
What
so
job do they
he was in
have
contact
open
with
right
Blueco.
now?
That's the thing. That's what I was wondering when I was reading it. So then it made sense when it went going on. So he was in contact with Blueco about a managerial role, and he thought the entire time this was going to go into the Chelsea job. Obviously it's the next season, because that's the first thing you think, isn't it? But then it turned out like the day down the line he had an interview scheduled or something, and the full the full details of it read it was actually a job offer for Strasbourg, because obviously they own Strasbourg in France as well, because they took Liam Rossigna, who was Strasbourg manager, who funnily enough used to manage Hull, by the way. I'm very familiar with him.
Yes, I do remember this. Yep.
Yeah. And
with Liam Delap, of course.
Liam Delap. I mean, I used to like him at Hull, but when I heard he was going to Chelsea, I was like, look, I like him, but he was frustrating to watch in the Championship, man. I knew he was never going to cut it at Chelsea, man. That's such a stupid signing. I do hope Rossigna does well, though. He's a nice guy, good coach. Talks absolute rubbish half the time. He loves the sound of his own voice, but good luck to him, man. I met him at a car park once, actually. Nice guy.
Did you? Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
At an away game. Yeah.
Nice.
And but yeah, he got offered the Strasbourg job, and obviously he's not going to give up Flamengo for Strasbourg. So then he turned him down and said, "No, I'm not obviously going to waste my time doing that. I'm going to commit to my Flamengo product." And obviously I don't know how they found out, because it was the best kept secret ever. We only found out after it happened. So obviously what's happened at Blueco is someone's grassed on him. Someone's obviously told the Flamengo board what's been happening, and then Flamengo have found out he's been negotiating with Blueco. So then I've just said, piss off and see you later. So I understand it.
Well, that's weird though, because I thought Strasbourg hired Gary O'Neill for their coaching job, like after Rossigna got there, or after he left.
Yeah, interim. He was talking about going into next season.
Interesting. That strange. That's so strange. Especially with, I mean, he had a good run. Obviously, like you just said before, the domestic season restarted, but there had been some success that he'd had there. That's I don't know. That's really, really strange. So thank you for helping clear some of that up, because
yeah, Carlo Ancelotti, you fuck around and find out in the World Cup, mate. You don't win that tournament, I'll take him. I'll tell you what, I don't mind Felipe Luis as manager of Brazil. I'll take that guy any day of the week, man.
Yeah, man.
Can't stand Flamengo. I can't stand them at all. But it comes a point where, like, look, as a manager, I done a tactical thread on him during the Club World Cup. Actually, got a real emphasis on midfield dominance and like wide play fluctuation, and the way he speaks. He doesn't because when you're at a job in Flamengo or any job in Brazil, but it's particularly if you're at a job in Flamengo or Corinthians, the pressure you get from the press is unreal, and the way he conducts himself with the press, he's like a fucking Terminator. He's like a boss. I'll take him out Brazil any day of the week. If Carlo wants to fuck around and find out in the summer, any day of the week. So pressure's on Carlo now, mate. Bring on the accent.
Oh man, we'll see what happens with that. I'm very curious to see how Brazil ends up this summer. They're such an interesting team, because like you think about the names that Brazil will have or should have, and you'll think about the pedigree, but then it's like, is it all going to work? Like, is it going to work under Ancelotti specifically? Like, is it all going to come together for once in this environment? I don't know. I think it's fascinating. I think they're one of the teams. Obviously, I wouldn't say they're one of the clear-cut favorites to win it, but they're definitely like one of those teams that you have to keep an eye out for. That could not necessarily surprise, because like Brazil shouldn't surprise anybody, but like you look back on it and you're like, oh, okay, like they were even better than we thought. Just because you have guys who are playing in good form for their clubs right now. So will it translate to when they come to this side of the world?
Yeah, well, obviously the first player you think of when it comes to club form translating who just hasn't done it is Vinicius. We don't have to go and start, but yeah, it's never wise to write off. It's never wise to write off Brazil at a major tournament, obviously, especially now Carlo is a manager. His pedigree in winning. I mean, the last time he won in 2002, people don't know that, but leading up to that tournament, They actually they barely qualified. Ronaldo just coming back from basically a leg break, and like no one really gave him a prayer. Like with whoever watched South American football said they're going to go into the World Cup. Then what they're going to do? And they fucking won it, blitzed everyone. So it's just it's never a smart thing. Like ultimately, we're always going to have that heritage. It's this thing. And I agree, we're definitely not clear-cut favourites. I mean, weirdly enough, I think this is just people's just begging something different's going to happen, because I think the bookies' favourites is Spain and has been for a while and still is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
For me, I know it's a boring answer, but I'm still worried about Argentina, man. I don't want them fuckers to win another one. Honestly, the first one was too much. I could let it slide because I love Messi, man. I fucking love Lionel Messi. When I was a kid growing up, I wanted to be that guy so much, so I could let it slide. Two. That's too much. 2 World Cups is too much, man. No way. And I've got a nasty feeling they could do it again, man. And not just because of Messi or the players, but that manager they got, man, Lionel Scaloni. At 3 different tournaments, he's used at 3 different years. At 3 different tournaments, he's used 3 different formations. Did the 4-2-3-1 in the World Cup. He tried the 4-4-2, a very fluid 4-4-2, and then he's won the recent Copa America with the 4-3-3. And I've seen him go 4-5-1 against Brazil as of last year. They pissed all over us in that game, 4-1. And I've seen him put 3 at the back. Bro, that guy is so smart, man. And the options he has, like he's going to have a real selection headache, like most top nations, I guess. But in terms of just your little players like Thiago Almada, who used to play for Botafogo, obviously, then like Julian Alves, does he play? Does Messi sit in the 9? Or is it because all these players offer something different? He's got so many different options and so many players that is disposable. And he's the master of knowing who to use in each game. Like the way tactically breaks down, analyzes, it's insane. If he was a club manager, he'd easily be in charge of one of the top teams in Europe. Like if he's definitely good enough for that level. I mean, Hansi Flick's under a bit of pressure. Flicky Flacker at Barcelona. Mate, I'll tell you what, if they get rid of him at the end of the year, I'm telling you, the first name that's going to be on their agenda is Leo Scaloni. I'll tell you that. And if Barcelona get Luis Scaloni, they'll piss the Champions League at least in the next 2 or 3 years. There's no way he won't, man. He's that good. I'm real concerned with that. And it kills me to admit it. It does kill me to admit it, but it's the truth, man. He's one of the best international managers I've ever seen.
Yeah, he is very, very versatile with the way that he's able to, like you mentioned, switching it out and use the squad in that moment of time in the correct way. So yeah, I mean, anybody who doesn't think they're a favorite because they think, oh, Messi's 38, 39, like it's not going to be the same. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, well, he's going to find a way to make it work.
I'll make a claim right now. I've said this for the longest time. Look, everyone says, who's the best player in the world? Is it Yamal? Is it Mbappe? As long as Messi's still kicking a football, that guy's still the best player in the world for me. I'll always say it. In the Club World Cup, I see when he drives through the centre with Porto, when he does that little shimmy, that little body feint, and then when he places that free kick. Name me another player in world football who does that. You can't, because there isn't. I'm sorry, as long as he's still kicking ball, I don't care what physical disadvantages he's got. No one can do what he does with a fucking leather spherical ball at his feet. There's no way. I'm sorry, I love Yamal, but even if they don't have Messi, like they didn't have him in the final of the Copa America, obviously. And Colombia were the better team in that game. They were the miles better team. And then second half, Lionel Scaloni, right, let's compact the midfield a bit. Let's play in transition. Lautaro Martinez, see you later, 1-0. That's how smart he is, man. He doesn't need Messi either way. And that's just, it's scary.
Dude, seeing Messi live, because I saw him live less than 2 weeks ago. I went to go see him when they played LAFC. So I got to see him and Kyung-Min Son.
Well, you picked a pretty shit game, obviously.
With the 3-0, yeah, I know, bro. But it was awesome.
You need to try and go again. It's on my bucket list. I want to see Messi play at least once.
Yeah, bro. You need to come make your way to this side of the world, bro. The tickets are not as bad as they used to be when he first got here.
No, I mean the last time they played because I'm hoping that they play like one of them, like one of them exhibition games in the UK. The last time they played Italy in the Finalissima in the.
Yo, you better hope that comes back over there to Wembley this time, since Qatar's not going to be able to host it anymore. because of all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah,
with
well,
the
that's.
war.
I mean, if like, because Messi's get if I get, I want it. Cause I couldn't go last time, obviously, but like, if that game happens, I'm on the tickets. I want to see Messi play. That's the one thing that really scares me, though. What if the one time I go see Messi, and I'm like, oh, I want to see him do his match, and then just like you, he has one of his shit games. Like that'll annoy me. Like I want to see. That's the thing that annoyed me as well. Against Italy, that guy at Wembley, he was fucking unreal, and I was like, I wish I was there to see that, man. Because it's different. You've been to football games, man. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. I mean, like, it won't be the first. Like, you can't do everything in life. I always wanted to go see Gignac play live, and it's looking like that's going to be well out. I mean, I'm planning to come across that side in the next couple of years, like for sure. But yeah, just too late, too much. Just born a bit too late. Born a bit too late, weren't I? I mean, I'll still give it a go. But if I don't, then whatever. But I'd love to see Messi play live.
Yeah, man. Hopefully you can. I mean, it sounds like he's going to be in Miami for at least another couple of years, so you should have, in theory, a fair bit of time to make your way out over here and hopefully see him at some point. Whether that's in Miami or at one of these like games, like the LA game a couple of weeks ago, where they had to move it to a bigger stadium because more people wanted to go, like, see, like, him and Son, right? Like, whatever the case may be, like, I hope that opportunity comes, and we'll show you around this part of the world, and hopefully you get to see the GOAT.
Yeah. I'll have to give him one, because funnily enough, my girl was saying, "Oh, I want to go to Florida because she's obsessed with the music festivals there." She's like, "You coming?" I'm like, "I'm not setting a fucking foot in that country, mate." And she goes, "Oh, but Messi plays down." I'm like, "Fuck, he does as well. For God's sake, yeah, I might have to come by." And I was like, "Yeah, I might have to." I mean, Lewis has been saying I should shoot round as well, and I'd love to tear the shit out of Sean in real life as well.
Yeah, I know you do. Oh, Sean. I gotta tell you this. I gotta tell the listener base this. I don't even know who's still on at this point because it's almost midnight. But by some miracle, by pure luck, I was able to snag at least tickets to one game of the World Cup in a couple months. Somehow got in the I don't even know if it was even the lottery, just like the exclusive additional chance thing that they sent out last week. So I will be attending match number, I think 12 or 14, which is Tunisia versus either Ukraine, Poland, Sweden, or Albania, depending on who wins that UEFA playoff later this month. I'm hoping for Sweden. Of all those teams,
it's not the most glamorous game, is it? But do you know, a World Cup game's a World Cup game. I've never been to a World Cup game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, would I have loved to have seen England, Croatia here because I live 15 minutes from that stadium? Yeah, but that game is like almost impossible to get.
Do you know Euro 2028 is being hosted in England and Ireland?
Yes, I am aware. Yeah.
I was thinking I might have to get myself across for a few games and that. I mean, fuck England, but like, I'll go to a few games. If I've got it.
Yeah. And I think they've already announced all the venues for that too. So like,
yeah, I think the rumored that England are going to play Manchester Arena or something. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so. They're going to spread it out like a fair bit, which would be cool. So I would like to go to that. Maybe whatever money I don't spend on World Cup this year because of how exorbitant the ticket prices are, I'll leave it in my savings account and I'll use it for the Euros in a couple of years. I'd much rather do that.
The money I spent going to Brazil this summer, I could have easily spent that and gone to some World Cup games, like for a bit. And she was like, "You could have done that." And he was like, "Why don't you go?" I was like, "Because I'm not going to that country, mate." I'm telling my girl, I'd rather watch it with you with family, like, on the TV. Fuck, I'm not going there. Fuck that, man. But I think everything's telling me I have to go there at some point, man. I need to see Lionel Messi play. I need to come and see yourself. I need to come and see Sean. Obviously I want to see a Tigres game as well. I've told her, look, you have to come and see a Tigres game with me because I used to have this burning passion, still do, about Mexican football and Tigres, and I want to go to El Volcan because random subjects as well. They talk about building a new stadium, aren't they? Moving away from El Volcan.
Yes, yeah, they've resurfaced that conversation, and there's been some actual traction towards that from the state government. I can't remember all the details, but there is some traction there that feels real. I don't know when. I can't remember when they said that they would want to have it open. Like I think it's sometime after 2030, if I remember correctly, 2032 maybe. But
Right.
if they have it their way, it'll be open within the next decade.
Well, yeah, you're not going to build a new stadium overnight, yeah. So I've
Right,
got plenty
yeah.
of time, and I mean, on top of that, it needs to be, yeah, bro. I want to go Mexico. I want to go obviously El Volcan. I think I'll have plenty of time for that, and it needs to be a big stadium as well because the fan base in the the fan base of Tigres in Nuevo León in Monterrey it's ridiculous. It's incredible. Tigres have the more. I'll say this right. I'm sorry, any. I might be saying this right. I'm sorry for any Brazilian viewers because the Brazilian fans, when they run it, they're right up there. But pound for pound, every week, the Mexican fans at World Cups, and particularly the two teams. There's two teams in Liga MX, right? I'll admit, Toluca, their fan base is insane. Toluca and ourselves, Tigres and Toluca. Obviously, barring like Boca Juniors and like River Plate, because their fans are just like on fucking
right.
I don't know what's wrong with them, but like outside them two,
yeah,
right. The most insane fan base that I've ever seen. Every week, like it could be a big CONCACAF Champions League game. We could be playing Pumas at El Volcan. The noise, the drums is just ridiculous. When I'm on the TV, you get fucking goosebumps watching it, man. And like Brazilian football picks, it pick and chooses when it's real like all intimidating atmosphere when Flamengo are playing Corinthians. But then when they've got one of those sort of fodder games, like it's just like it's real chilled out, real relaxed. There's no such thing as a chilled out, relaxed game at Tigres, no matter what. So that's what pound for pound, the Mexican fans, man, they're fucking unreal. I want to experience that.
You will, brother, and we will make sure to take care of you whenever that happens. Hopefully, the next couple of years. I will go with you for sure. I'm sure all of us, like a ton of us.
Yeah,
we should
go together as lautimes, lautimes Tour of Mexico.
Yes,
I want to go
to
El Volcan. I really want to go, man. I love the Estadio Azteca. That's been my favorite stadium. I wanted to go there since I was a little boy because I just seen the pictures of Maradona and Pelé at that stadium, man.
Yeah,
how it hasn't changed in 60 years, and just like the soul of that stadium. And I think when I walk out that stadium, and then like you get those little tunnel bits on the top. And I see that when you watch when FIFA, the World Cup movie from the 1970 when Brazil won, the world at their feet, and then they've got the videotapes and then the little camcorder things, and then when I walk out and I get that exact view, I don't care who's playing. Once I get that view and I see the stadium, it's a mirror image. I think I'm gonna cry. I think I'll cry, bro. I'll be honest, man. That stadium is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I'm curious to see when they finish the renovations for it this month, like how it all turns out and how it feels.
About time it needed a renovation as well.
Yeah.
It's been since 2018 since they got there. That stadium's been fucking it's been off key.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I got one more question for you, and then we'll wrap up the show. You as an Arsenal fan. I had to ask a question.
Fucking it.
Are you confident that your team is going to win the Premier League, the Champions League, care about all four? None of them. Where are you at with the Gunners?
Carabao Cup, FA Cup, maybe. Champions League, Premier League. Champions League, fair enough if you don't win. Premier League, I still think we've still got wiggle room to bottle it, mate. I'm sorry. It's impossible to win in a league title playing this anti-football, and it is anti-football. People say you can play pragmatic football and win the league. Jose Mourinho did that, but he didn't play anti-football. That 05 Chelsea team, even though they were a pragmatic part of the bus, only conceded 14 goals that league season. Some of their approach play, like Frank Lampard and going forward, like they were fucking unreal to watch. Like when they got going, it's been a few games here and there that you pick and choose that Arsenal have like, oh yeah, they look real good. That game, I think both North London derbies, Atletico Madrid, we look about good for 2 minutes, like 20 minutes when we popped like 3 goals past them and ended the game.
The Inter game too, I thought was good.
I think we had moments in that game, but I thought we were second best in that game. I thought the scoreline flattered us, to be honest. I really do think the scoreline flattered us. Don't think we were bad, but I just think that the level needs to be higher. And for the first few months of the season, because my dad's an Arsenal fan, that's where I get it from. He says, do you think we'll step up a level? Because we're top of the league. But we both know that we're not playing like a champion team. Like we're not, even now we're not. And I said, look, give Arteta time, and I'm one of the biggest like pragmatists when it comes to Arteta. But I've seen him play fluid football a few years back. I said, look, he's got new players now, no more injury problems. Give him time just to integrate these players into the team, because we've got a new players like Gyökeres, like Zubimendi, like all these players that we need to. Declan Rice is still trying to get into that new role. Odegaard's been injured after time. Eze still needs to adapt. So I said, just let these players settle down. Right, and then trust me, we'll start moving the ball quicker. And then when we beat Spurs at our ground 4-1, ironically again 4-1 out of their ground as well. When we beat, but the first leg at the Emirates, I was like, see, look, there we go, we're gonna get going now. But ever since then, we've just been stale to watch. I don't see it improving, and I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but a 5-point gap with a game in hand that's going to get closed down with Man City on our tails, and they've got players like Ryan Cherky who are flourishing and El Nouri who are looking better every week. The only player who's really like stepped up a level, and I'm glad to say it's realistically been Gyökeres, and he's not had the rub of the green more season as well. But like Eze's only had a few games here and there. I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm one of the more realistic Arsenal fans. We've got the most triggering fan base online if you follow like English football Twitter. I know, but I'm one of the most realistic ones, man. I just can't. I hope I'm wrong, but
you are. Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense. I don't. We'll get caught unstuck. We've already got caught unstuck plenty of times, and we've got 9 more games to get caught unstuck, and we've still got to play Man City. So it's
away too, not just anywhere, just at Manchester. Yeah,
I think we're getting picked, bro. I think we're getting picked. If you asked me that question a month ago, I would have said, I don't know. I want to say yes, but I'm still licking my wounds from the past 3 years when we bottled, especially 23 and 24. I'm still licking my wounds when we bottled it those 2 years. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm literally, after last week's performance where we dropped points, I'm literally just now at the moment where I'm like, bro, we fucked it again. I could just see it coming. We fucked it again.
We'll see what happens, man. I think it's crazy how quickly the gap closed after about a month ago, like you mentioned. It makes the race entertaining, because I mean, at this point last year there wasn't a race. Which I think we'd rather have a race than none. But man, it's going to be tight. I would be shocked if it doesn't go to the last day, like it did in 24.
Oh, I'll go to it'll definitely go to match day, or at least the penultimate day, no doubt.
Yeah,
Premier League shit, man. Liga MX is better.
I mean, at this point, it's more entertaining, that's for sure. You're right about the anti-football mindset, or the sentiment that's around, especially the Premier League, and the fact that like a bunch of coaches are saying it now too. Like, you know, Carrick said it today, and Guardiola.
I like Carrick, man. I like Carrick.
I do too.
I fucking hate them. I hope that club get fucking burns to the ground. But I like Carrick, man. He's a good coach. The way he talks, the way he knows football as well. He's a good manager. He'll get them back up there for sure. I like Carrick. Yeah. He came to our ground and he schooled us, man. He gave us a football lesson. I'll be honest, man. The only reason they're not in the title race right now is because in the first half of the season they had one of the worst managers I've ever seen. Honestly, brother. I think pound for pound, he's got to be the worst Premier League manager of all time. He's got to be. I'm talking like even like Alan Shearer at Newcastle and Frank de Boer at Crystal Palace, and they were all like Nathan Jones at Southampton. But yeah, they had a short span of like 6 or 7 games. The guy had 1.5 nearly 2 years, practically. Would have been 2 years in the summer. Yeah. And his win ratio was like 27%. And he's at Manchester United, and he spent like fucking how much did he spend? And
almost $1 billion, bro.
Well, not collectively, but like him, he would have been like somewhere there. Like, well, he's still at least like 150 to 200 million with like Cunha, the players this time, Hazraoui, like, and then he had like lower down the table, like 15th last season, and then he was only in the top 4 race right now, because the league's so compact and so poor. And then someone who comes up from a manager of Middlesbrough, like he's not even a top world-class coach, like he's a good coach. He's come from fucking Middlesbrough and he's just got him fed, just like that. What were you doing the entire time with that fucking money? What were you doing? That's what I mean. Pound for pound, he's got to be the worst. Like, not in terms of record, but pound for pound in terms of money spent, the club they're at, where they perform, he's got to be the worst. There's no fucking way he's not. He's dreadful. Dreadful, man.
Yeah, and now he's just getting paid a ton of money to sit around and do nothing. Yeah. Like, what a life, bro.
They got knocked out the Carabao Cup by fucking Grimsby. Grimsby, bro. Grimsby. I can get a bus ride to Grimsby right now, 40 minutes from where I live. Right, it's a shithole. There's all the fish factories there, and the people stink of shit, and they're all inbred.
That's awesome. I'm glad I know that about Grimsby now.
You need to watch the film. Watch the film, The Brothers Grimsby. It's called. It's got a bit of football reference in it. You need, yeah.
It does. Okay, I will. Is it on like Netflix or something?
I don't know. It's one of the funniest films ever. I'll send you the trailer afterwards on Twitter.
Okay,
I might watch that before I go to bed. Actually, you reminded me.
That's amazing. Heck
one of the funniest films ever, man. Have you seen Ali G with like Borat and stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
It's that guy.
Okay. Okay. So I'm in for a good time then. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's honestly on one of the, if not the funniest film I've ever seen, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's great. Okay, so sorry. Follow up to my follow up. If Arsenal doesn't win the Champions League, who does?
Right. So I've my mates know this. I've got a very, very good track record in the last like decade of either get the champions or the runners up. So last year I said Inter. Really thought they were going to win that final. That went tits up, but I got the runners up regardless. I remember quite impressively. I said, look, I've very aggressively said Man City will win in 22-23. Very aggressive. And then someone said, but they've got the bottle gene, surely they will. I was like, yeah, but Haaland makes a difference. You don't understand how many defenders like occupy space and how much like room he makes for the inside players. And then like he was the difference. I knew it. This season from match day one, I said Barcelona will win it. I either get the winner or the runners up, but this is the first time ever. I'm sort of like, because last year with Inter, I was like, yeah, they'll win it, man. Throughout the whole time Man City was in the tournament, I was like, yeah, they'll win it. I'm sticking to my guns. This is the first time where my match day one prediction for the Champions League in Barcelona, I'm a bit shaky with that because I'm sure you've seen, I know they won 3-0, but they've gone at the Copa del Rey. They look fucking shaky at times, man. That Haaland, Hansi Flick plays. And I'm all for front foot aggressive football, but when you're getting done by the same trap every single time, I think they were fortunate to get the result they did. I watched the Elche game the other week. Again, they're getting caught by the same thing. And they got a goal ruled out offside as well. It's the same thing when you watch them every week. I watched them against Villarreal. They were fantastic, man. Like, I mean, yeah, man, like they've got the quality to win it. That's why I picked them, man. I think from top to bottom, they've got all-around quality. But Hansi Flick, I love him as a coach. You've got to balance the team, mate. You're not winning the fucking Champions League playing like this. It's not happening. But I got to stick to it. I can't bottle it now. I'm going to say Barcelona.
Sure. Yeah.
But I thought the little dents they had in their team last year about getting caught in transition, getting caught those gaps in between and mistiming when the line step ups. I get like they got inexperienced defenders like Kubasi. Koundé, by the way, I never rated him even when he was at Sevilla. To be honest, the amount of time that guy gets beat in the air for a defender is embarrassing, man. I'm better than him in the air, for fuck's sake. And I just thought all these little things you would have ironed out, whether it's a new system, whether they signed a player here, and I thought Barca won't mess about. They'll attack that Champions League next year. They got Yamal, and I do think Messi's the best player in the world. If you want to argue best player in Europe, I'll agree on that hill. Yamal, yeah, I'll definitely. What he does with the ball, they should be going and win it. But the way they set up, the way they approach games, mate, it's just I might have cocked this one up, to be honest.
I don't have a clue, bro. Like,
if you're going to ask if I could change my prediction, the most likely right now, I like the look of buying. If I could change my prediction, but I can't change my prediction. I've got to stick with it, man. I think Barca will win it, but for the fair, I'm not too confident with the way they've looked.
I'm not too confident saying this, but it's also really hard for me to pick against PSG, knowing that I know that they can turn it on. But I also think that this year, I don't think they can win it with the goalkeeper situation that they have, because Donnarumma
they scrape past Monaco, man. I watched.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people have been watching other games, especially the Real Madrid Benfica game. That game had a lot of tension in it for reasons we won't get into. But obviously, that PSG Monaco game, PSG's a team I love watching, even when they're playing poor. Monaco's a team, believe it or not, I've loved watching. I like the new manager. I like a couple of players. We've got Haaland from Arsenal, Balogun. They got that BRF as well, and we've got some good midfield players. Yep. I like watching Monaco. Man. I don't mind Ligue 1 this season. I never really watched it a lot last few years, but this year I like the look of Ligue 1. RC Lens. Racing at the top, they just dropped points. I think PSG are going to leapfrog them. So, as someone who's got to naturally watched a bit of French football this year, I was like, I'll watch both those games, man. I'm telling you, PSG should count their lucky stars that Maui Serra and all their defenders at Monaco are injured, man, because that Wout Faz, I've seen him play in person at Leicester.
Brother, that guy is awful.
He's fucking dog shit. Honestly, pound for pound, he's got to be the worst defender I've seen in my time at the top level, right? He made like what was the scoring like 5-4? He made like 3 errors, leading to like 3 or 5 of PSG's goals. And then on top of that, you probably watched the highlights. At the last minute, he had a fucking chance 6 yards out from the box. Get
And
the
he
fucking thing on target. He misses the fucking ball. 3 hours leading to goal in two ties, right? Then on top of that, he misses a fucking sitter down the other end to equalise the game. He is shit, right? Monaco boxed him off the park in both legs. They were better in midfield. They were better in attack. They scored 4 goals in the tie. They still fucking lost.
Yeah,
Man, Wout Faz, you should hold your head in shame, man. I'm still pissed off even thinking about it. PSG should not be through in this tournament, man. Monaco, but I'm so glad Monaco beat him in the cup tonight, man, because they were a better team in both legs. Both legs of that game, at the Parc des Princes and at the Stade Louis. They were the better team, man. They should have never lost that fucking tie. It pisses me off even thinking about it. I'm not even a Monaco fan. Genuinely, man.
they beat them in the cup. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I think. Well, I heard it. I heard that. I went watching, but I heard that in the Coupe de France to do PSG. I don't know, maybe just.
Oh, I see. Or
When was this? Oh wait, no. What the fuck? What? No. PSG got beat by the.
no, they got beat by Paris, right?
FC. What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck I saw then. Monaco aren't even in it.
Oh, they got out too.
I was watching the stream and someone said Monaco went. I don't know what the fuck I heard then. Yeah, good. I'm glad you picked me up. I'm glad you picked me up on that because it's not like the game I was watching or anything. I just heard it. I just heard Monaco for PSG in the cup or something. I might have misheard.
That's funny.
Yeah, but all right. So I mean, regardless, I think PSG will get unstuck, man. I think they'll get unstuck because yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I like their team, but I think without Ousmane Dembele, I think it really shows you since Ousmane Dembele has been at how much he really does in that attack about linking it up. I know they've got a great midfield and defense, but fuck me, what a player he is. Yeah. So if he's fit in time, then maybe, but I think they'll get unstuck, man. Very, very lucky to go through.
Okay. I don't know. There's like 7 teams that could win it, and 6 of them are all on one side of the bracket, which is insane. Honestly, at this point, the thing that I'm hoping for is for Bodo to go on a Cinderella run and to just play to the best that they can.
I'd love that, but I'm sorry to spoil everyone's dreams, lads. They've got them Scandinavian players who I used to cold, and trust me, in Northern Europe right now, it has been absolutely fucking piss cold, right? It has, but yeah, sorry to spoil everyone's fun, lads, but it's coming up to March and then April. That's when it gets warm here and their stadium becomes more playable and it's done. They might get through Sporting, but they're not getting to the semis or the final. So I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm sorry to kill the fun, lads. Once it gets warm, they're done. Once the weather warms up a bit in Europe, they're done, man. It's the fact that they're just used to playing in cold climate that's benefited them. Yeah. I'll be real. Yeah. But I like Bodo Glimt, man. I like how quick they move the ball. I remember when they beat Celtic in the Europa League a few years back.
Yeah.
And, God, that same coach as well. The way they moved the ball, the way they played diagonal passes, man. I fucking love watching Bodo Glimt, man. One of my favourite teams to watch in Europe. Don't watch Norwegian football at all, obviously, but when I watch Champions League or Europe and I see Bodo Glimt highlights, I'm like, go on, let's entertain myself. I know I'm going to get a good game when I watch Bodo Glimt, man. Yeah. So I hope so. But truthfully, when the weather starts warming up, man, they'll get caught and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry to kill the fun, boys.
Sure. I mean, you're a realist, man. You are real with the predictions and real with the takes. So I trust your judgment, and we'll see what happens. But you're probably right.
Yeah, I watch too much football, man. I watch way too much football for my own health, bro. But I'm not going to stop anytime soon. Man, I got into Tigres when I was bored at 3 a.m. when I was still in college in 2019.
Dude, I love that. Game, I love it.
That's how I am, man.
Yeah, man. I love that about you. Just the obsession that you have in a good way, obviously. It's great. I mean, the fact that you're talking to me when it's about to be midnight for me over here, and it's, the wee hours of the morning over there on your side. Like, it's dedication, man. It really is.
Yeah. So, when I talk about football, no matter in what context, man, there's no shutting me up, bro. That's just how it is.
I love it. All right, I'm gonna shut this episode down because we're running up on 2.5 hours, and that's a long time. But thank you, my friend, for joining me. It's great to have you back, even for just a minute. And we got to get you on definitely the next watch along for sure, but definitely some of these upcoming
All
episodes.
right, if I'm
as
up for it, I'll pull up. No, it's all good, man. Yeah, I mean, Sham, I wanted to speak to Lou and Edgar as well because obviously we were the OGs with Arnaldo back in the day with the podcast, and now I know Arnaldo's changed the format a little bit, and he has you running it as like an interactive show, and you do a fucking good job with that, mate. I like tuning in when I'm like really like tired of 3 a.m. just dropping a little comment in, taking the piss listing, giving good insight and stuff. The watch log was really good. No, it's good, man. I think what you've built and the interaction you get, the viewership, I think it's fucking elite what you and Arnaldo have done with the English speaking community. It's fucking elite, man. I love it, bro.
Thank you. That's very kind of you, my friend. Appreciate the words, and you've obviously played a big part of it as well. So I appreciate you and your contributions to this over the years. Listeners, viewers, if you're watching live right now, if you're still hanging out with us at almost midnight Texas time, appreciate you. If you're listening back on podcast right now and you've made it past 2.5 hours, you're a rock star. Follow us on all of our socials. Click all the links in the show notes. Click all the accounts in the show notes. Even Woodsy's handles on there. I got to update it though, based on the new handle that I see on your screen. So check out all of us and follow all of us and tell your friends about the show. Like I said, we'll be back next week, recapping everything that happens tomorrow and Saturday, and look ahead to more CONCACAF next week. And we will have a decision soon whether or not we'll do a watch along. If I had to guess, we may do one next Thursday when the Cincinnati first leg happens. So keep your eyes peeled for that, Woodsy, and all you who are watching as well. But that's going to do it for us tonight on Low Times. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your week. Be well. Arriba Low. And Woodsy, thank you for joining us. And Edgar and Lou, thank you for joining me as well, even though you guys are not on here currently. Bye-bye.
Peace out.